day to be a Tiger. JSU by 40 campaign. Coach Taylor, I was just thinking, I was sitting in my office and we were talking about Jackson State athletics, the tradition of Jackson State. You played here. What if 50,000 alums gave $40 a month for 12 months?
Man, that would be huge. That's money in the bank for athletic program.
Let's do this, Coach. I'm challenging all 50,000 alumni of Jackson State University, supporters, fans. Let's give $40 a month to JSU by 40 campaign. 12 months, 12 million. September to August, let's win championships in the classroom. Let's support Jackson State University. Let's support athletics. And let's make sure our coaches and our student athletes are successful. So again, Coach Taylor and I are challenging you, all 50,000 alums, $40 a month for 12 months to support Jackson State athletics. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Support the JSU by 40 campaign. Visit gojsutigers.com/JSU by 40.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Come on in, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. What's going on, brother?
What's up, pimpin'? What's up, the I Love family?
Oh, man, not a whole lot, man. Y'all hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already. Give me a sec, man. I got to upload something.
Do your thing, man. Look, we got a lot to get into today, man. Of course, you guys know we're going to get back and recap the Legacy Bowl. Also going to touch into quite a bit going on, man, with behind the scenes JSU as well as going on in Mississippi. You know, you dropped the video today. We're going to get into, this proposed bill in the state of Mississippi. We got spring ball coming up this weekend, starting up. So we got a lot popping. Boom's official on Apple Music now. You got got games coming up this weekend. We heading down a home stretch of the regular season. Baseball is up and going. Softball is up and going. Track and field getting ready to start up. Tennis is getting ready to start up again too. So got a lot going on, man, in the spring sports.
Yeah, I'm uploading a video that I want to touch on, man. But no, we're in the peak of our athletic season right now. Give me a sec. Let me turn the volume down on this thing. I tried to upload it a different way, and it just wouldn't do it.
And look, why you doing that, bro? I do want to tell, man, kudos and thank you and big ups to all the I Love family who actually mosey on down to New Orleans for the Legacy Bowl. I can tell you right now, there were quite a few different fans from all HBCU land, from all walks of life. We had people in there, man, from Morgan State, South Carolina State, Norfolk State, FAMU. But, man, when I tell you the JSU contingent was in there really, really good supporting our 5 JSU Tigers. Coach CC Taylor was there as well with Rob J. JSU had the only media team with great media presence down there covering the event.
No, it wasn't the only.
But we don't
use the main.
Huh?
I don't want them to say that. It was only a few though.
No. I'm talking about school.
Oh, it was more. It was just only.
Someone else was there?
Yeah,
my apologies. I didn't see, but be it as it may, we still gonna get to that too because, as you know, we talked to Reggie Flood, who was down there, does Jaguar Journal for Southern, and pretty much let him know as well, man. Like we need to be represented. If any school has a player in the Legacy Bowl or any type of event, we always want to talk about branding. If you have a player in anything that represents your school, then there needs to be content created for it. You need to have it covered, and all schools need to be represented and accounted for. That's how you move the needle. That's how you control the narrative, and we can control our own narrative, and we got to get better at that.
Let me add something to that. To hell with them other schools. I mean that. You know why I say that? Because and you're right, but I don't care. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it tonight. So you have to your point, you got, and I'm not bothered by it. It is what it is. We do what we do, and let them do what they do. If they don't do it, they don't do it. I ain't finna go on no press run trying to get these folk to show up and support their school. Y'all do what y'all been doing. We're gonna keep doing what we do at Jackson State. because that has a lot to do with why a lot of these folks so damn jealous. They don't do nothing but talk smack on the internet. They mad at us. They hate us because they ain't us, man. So, FAMU, I start with you. Celebration Bowl champs, all that good old stuff. You had 6 players in the Legacy Bowl. You had a coach. You had a former player who was the MVP last year that's in the league, and no media presence, none. And that's on y'all. You know, they love to talk when it's come down to, you know, they talk more about us than they do their own school. You show more energy towards going at Jackson State than you do, you know, going at your own school. So when it's time to put up a shut up, you know, you say, well, oh, you know, y'all got on here and asked for money from the folks. Yeah, but I can say it now. That was a specific reason why we asked for what we asked for, because we wanted to make sure that, you know, we could support our media team. So I'm not going. I ain't on no kumbaya shit. I'm just not. And I'm not saying you are, but the hell with them folks. After what I saw yesterday and what I saw all day today, I'm over. It's JSU or nothing for me. All that old one. I get it, bro. I get it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take what my mama told me. If I ain't got nothing good to say, I ain't gonna say nothing at all. So I'm gonna just keep my mouth closed about them. Y'all know where y'all athletes at, whatever. Because this is what they want. It's always Jack State always got to take the high road, and then you continue to kick people. You continue to kick us. You can continue to tag us. Continue to this. Continue to that. We come back from the Legacy Bowl, and you got folks that want Mo Williams is the most unprofessional coach in the world because he got kicked out of the game, as if they ain't never seen a basketball coach get ejected from the basketball game for showing passion on the court. What else happened that was the worst thing ever? What's been going on with us? It was something else. It'll come to me. So if you didn't show up, let me show love for those I know who was there. Alabama State had a young lady that was there at the last practice that I saw. Southern has Reggie Flood, Lionel Franklin came through. Virginia Union has some media there. Howard has some media there.
Okay.
You had a few schools that, because Howard had quite a few players. They had some student athletes some students that, some media teams that was there. And then you had a lot of other just individual podcast personalities that was there. I want to shout out my guy, man, that I met. Shout out my brother Terrence Pitts from Pitts and Push Sports Talk Radio. So it was the anyway. No, it wasn't Southern Heritage Classic. It wasn't just that. It was made a point when he first got his money. But let me say this too. And I know TD coming in there. We're gonna break down the whole weekend when we get down to it. But it's a lot that I do want to cover, and I want to be strategic with this. We got a lot that we got to talk about tonight, and you kind of touched on it in the beginning, though. Legacy Bowl. Main takeaway I got from the Legacy Bowl, we'll touch on that. Big injury. You know, I thought the overall weekend of the Legacy Bowl was cool. Got a lot of interviews coming down the pipe. And some great content. Had a really good time. Great time in the fellowship. Put a lot of work in. Talked to Austin today, so we probably will be dropping those videos tomorrow. So just be on the lookout for that. That's coming in, you know. You know, I like that's that's one of our ambassadors right there. I fully support him in what he talking about. You know what I mean? So you damn right. So I'm sorry. I'm not gonna be on that I'm on the DI love train from here on out. TD, I'll let you rock out, man. How you feeling, brother?
Man, I don't have any rocks, man. I'm chilling. I'm good. I'm happy, man. Another blessed day to be alive. You know what I'm saying? We had a good time over the weekend. We came out and supported the Tigers. Like you said, there was some media coverage down there. I mean, you know, but I'm going to tell you something. I don't want to, you know, as much as I am about unity, I don't sweat nobody else's media team not coming. As long as we get there and do what we need to do for DI Love and support our people. I mean, those people know what they want to do, what they need to do, man. Like you said, Howard was there, Southern was there, Virginia Union. I mean, it was it was some good support there. So I enjoyed the Legacy Bowl. Like I said, I guess we're not gonna get into it right now. But Tiger Nation, how y'all doing? Hope y'all feeling well. Hope your day went well. We back.
Yeah, we back, man. It was a great event, man. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the practices. I enjoyed the players, man. Shout out to the players. They had a great attitude. Only interview we didn't get. Jaheim, hey, Herb, tell Ja he owes us an interview, man. He gonna have to pop up on the live because he ran off on me. He was supposed to be the last interview, and he kind of got away from us, but it's all good. We talked to Ja on Tiger Talk. And I also know that some players are just camera shy, man. They get camera anxiety. He was kind of one of those players that's like that. But it was a great trip, man. Great time. The game itself, though, it was kind of a snooze fest. I got to be honest with you. I got some suggestions. I think we need more players added to the game. I talked to Blue earlier today. Was talking about, and we'll touch on Davius Richard going down. I think it kind of took the life out of the game. You know, the best player on the field, in my opinion, he went down the field like a hot knife through butter, man. And it got to the goal line, and this was a terrible play call, man, in the goal line in the All-Star game. And his coach let everybody know how he felt about that.
And I really echo his coach's sentiments, honestly, because
everybody echo it. Everybody
in that type of game, why are you doing quarterback runs? You know what I'm saying? But number two, I don't want to get this lost in the wash because I heard it quite a bit during the game. I felt even like actually getting to this with you after the game, but I said I was going to mention it. The one thing that needs to change, I understand how we go about picking the coaches and how we set the whole concept of this up. But, man, one thing is necessary that I was really disappointed in was the actual playing times that our JSU Tigers got. Our players didn't play a whole lot of snaps. And granted, I know that's probably a touching point in regards to, trying to equally distribute snaps. And I get that. But we had a lot of players that played minimal snaps, man.
Rusty, that's not fair. So I got you, bro. And I'll get back. In a game like that,
you don't do that.
That doesn't matter.
That's not what the game calls for.
So to your point, Rusty, you already seen Davius Richard run, bro. You know he can run the ball. He threw the ball pretty accurately down the field, and that's how they got in the red zone. So, but yeah, anyway, we'll get into that. I don't want to, put a damper on anything. I just know that everything that I want to talk about, I got a lot of passion about it, and we're gonna move accordingly. Shout out to the Boom. I mean, man, they came in and did their thing, had a great showing. It was just a great time, man. Jackson State was heavily represented in a major way. But kind of with that being said, I go ahead and put this up there. This Wednesday, we put that out there. The head man himself, the director of bands and assistant professor of music, Jackson State University. We got Dr. Roger Glitter going to be joining us on the show live on Wednesday. So if you haven't, look, the show is already up there. You can you can click on the channel. You can already you can click the live shows and the schedule is already up. Make sure you turn your notification bell on. Don't be late. We'll have him on around 9:15 p.m. Central Standard Time for those that don't know. Looking forward to speaking with him. Man, he's just on a tear right now. They are absolutely killing it right now. And I don't know if you guys got this in the mail, but I did get this in the mail today. Well, it probably came. So if you haven't gotten this from the school, this is the Road to Roses Sonic Boom from the university sponsorships. And we're going to talk about this tomorrow because let me tell y'all something, man. When we're talking about raising money and fundraising, what we say, TD, and Zoe, transparency, clear messaging, follow up, those are the things that are necessary. I absolutely love this. The chair the chair of the Department of Music, Dr. Lisa M. Beckley Roberts, got a message, greetings, and she break that down. I'm not gonna read it. If you got it, you already seen it. I'll just say this real quick, highlight it. Top line: become a sponsor for the Road to Roses fundraiser by supporting at one of at the gift levels below. First, the top level is the title sponsor. That's $100,000 for a title sponsorship. You know, so any a particular company or entrepreneur or business person, they can become a title sponsor. You know, platinum sponsor, $50,000. Right. The gold sponsorship, 25,000, silver sponsorship, 10,000, and then a tiger sponsor, 2,500. So it's gonna then it has the breakdown on what that is. I'm gonna go ahead and say this right now. KC-1400 Media will be sponsoring. We are going to purchase one of those sponsorship packages. I'm not going to mention what that sponsorship package is going to be just yet, because I'll wait to have that conversation with Dr. Little on Wednesday. So on Wednesday, this Wednesday, pull up, man, pull up. So it's truly excited about that, as we're going to continue to continue our special guest Wednesday, rocking and rolling, and can't really say what's ahead, but we'll take what's in front of us right now. So thoughts on Dr. Little joining the show, fellas?
Man, it's a big thing, man. He's a certified Jacktown Juke, man, straight out of 833rd, you know what I'm saying? Maple Street.
Koch Brothers sponsorship is in order. Good deal. Go ahead.
And I tell you what, man, you know, we actually spoke to him, you know, so they got to the stadium, man, and just told him I want to congratulate him on the year that he had, man. And not as if like we as a unit, as the Boom, you know, the Boom as a whole, pretty much consistently have, you know, successful years, you know what I'm saying? Because consistency is what it is. It's the name of the game for them. But I will say this, man, this year here was even more particularly special for all they did, you know, and all the success that they had, man. They took it essentially to another level. When you talk about the beginning of the season last year, and then to culminate it, you know, with the most watched television event in United States television history, this year's Super Bowl, with over 200 million eyes on it, man. So just huge to get him on here, man. You know, to rap to him, man. He's a very, very humble dude. And again, when we spoke to him, the one thing he talked about was, hey, man, always recruiting. And everything in which they're doing is, again, we got to another plateau, and Dr. Little is setting his heights even higher for next season, and then want to culminate it with the Tournament of Roses parade, which is the first major parade in any type of college football arena. The first of its kind, the biggest of its kind. So kudos, and looking forward to having him on.
TD?
Yeah, I look forward to having Dr. Diller on. It'll be exciting, especially for football heads like me who don't know too much about the band. He can enlighten me and brighten my.
We know you're gonna have some great questions as always, brother. Got to be prepared, big dog.
Yeah, man. I spoke with him briefly at the game. I know, like I said, I don't like to take up too much of people's time when they're doing their jobs, so I don't like to interfere.
Yep.
So, I said a couple words to him, but I'm looking forward to having him on the show, and we'll have hope. I'm sure we'll have a great conversation. He can, like I said, I'm sure some more people will be enlightened on what he has to say besides me, because a lot of things that people don't know, they just hear and see. They don't know behind the scenes. Same thing with football. You just see in sports, period. You just see the pretty shiny outfits and people out there playing, but you don't know what goes on behind the scene. That would be interesting to be enlightened on what goes on with that. So there's a lot of things that can be covered with Dr. Little that I'm sure I don't know, and a lot of other people don't know. So yeah. I'm very interested in to talk with him.
So yeah, man. Listen, I tell you what, for those who are just like Toronto and myself and Zoe, who may have never been in the band, no, definitely wasn't in the Boom. But it wasn't in the Boom. So I'm talking about the Boom. I'm just so. If you got any questions that you would like for us to ask Dr. Little on Wednesday, shoot me an email. Just send them to my email, and I want to make sure that we take advantage of it. He's made his rounds. I mean, he's gone to to the local government, to the meetings, and he's been on Super Talk. He's been all over the place, man. We had Cortez Bryant on the Boom sessions with Tiger Talk with the 1400 Club, and just talked about how Usher is just, he was blown away by the Sonic Boom, and just so much more that we can touch on. But if you got any questions, submit them. Go ahead and submit those questions to me, and we'll get those asked, and we'll be prepared, man. And you can also drop some questions in the chat if you don't have any right then and there. So we'll go from there, but definitely looking forward to it. And if anyone like to donate to this platform, to our foundation, we have Friends of KC-1400 Inc. You can go to Givelify, look for Friends of KC-1400 Inc. and you'll see this page. All donations are tax deductible, and we definitely could greatly appreciate any support, because we're doing some major things, man. We can't tell you everything that we're doing on the screen. We got another major initiative coming down the pipe, and with our NIL collaboration. But so anyway, huge shout out to our channel sponsor. We want to thank Cannon Toyota Vicksburg for providing us with transportation and the vehicle. Myself and Toronto, we drove down, and Toronto drove back. I wound up flying out of New Orleans. So appreciate, brother. Then also appreciate brother KT Duff for getting it back to the dealership today. And we appreciate Cannon Toyota for keeping us mobile. Now, listen, I got to say something about this. There's a reason I didn't put this up here, because brother Billy, shout out to brother Billy. We got to get brother Billy some Jackson State merch over there to the dealership, TD. We got to take him some. So, he done gave us the shirt size. He said the only HBCU merch he got right now is Alcorn. He was talking a whole lot of cash money today. And he said he got a South Alabama shirt too, because, Jay Hobson is over at South Alabama. So I said, we're going to come and outfit you in JSU merch, KC-1400 merch. We're going to make sure that Greg Lindsay got some merch. We're going to make sure that his son Clay got some merch. We're going to merch out, man. And here's the cool thing about our partnership with Cannon Toyota Vicksburg. We are putting together an audit, a schedule signing we're looking to partner with our brand athletes. I know Irv is on there, so Irv, got an opportunity for you, brother. You know what I mean? You're one of our brand ambassadors, along with Isaiah Spencer. I'll be in contact with you too, off of the, outside of the show, to talk about an opportunity for us to go over to Vicksburg, man, and host a schedule, a JSU football schedule signing, man. We'll have a food vendor out there. Come feed them. And he said, yes, Greg Liz. I know Greg is alumni. I know he is. He all right, though. He all right, but they rocking with the Jays over here, man. But we're going to pull up on them, man. Hosting, it'll be hosted by KC-4. It's not a Jackson State event. It'll be a KC-1400 sponsored event, and furthering along our partnership with Cannon Toyota of Vicksburg. And we're looking to also do the same thing with Automasters, local in the city of Jackson. We appreciate our partners. Go to automaster06.com to check out their updated inventory. Also call 601-927-7794. Ask for Timothy or Terrence, man. They'll take care of you guys, man. So definitely looking forward to that as well. Like I said, we have Dr. Little on Wednesday. Let's keep it rolling. Tournament of the Roses. It looks like that. We just touched on that. Go ahead, TD. You got something?
Yeah, I want to say, man, you were speaking something that you have for us, Cannon. I want to say this to any players that are listening that's interested in being, ambassador or something like that. The spring season's coming up. Go out there, show up and show out. Make yourself undeniable. Stand out from the pack.
Yep.
And then, your chance should come. That's the way that works. You know what I'm saying? Huh?
100%, man. And one word, character. Your character goes before you, man. You got to have good character. You can be a dog on the field, man, but and this is not just KC-1400 Media Group. This is any company that's looking to partner, man. You guys got to make yourselves available and make yourselves and it can't just be play on the field. You know what I'm saying? Be personable, and we'll touch on a little bit more of that, man. So you got anything on this before we move on? I'm sorry I jumped too far ahead.
No, you didn't. But before we go forward, I do want to shout this out. Jackson State, man, today announced and recognized we had over 1,500 students, man, to make the President's and Dean list. Definitely want to shout that out today, man. Over 1,500 kids made President's or Dean list. That's huge. So kudos to y'all.
No, absolutely, man. That's good stuff, man. And we had, I won't touch on that, but I'll touch on that a little later. Back to the Legacy Bowl. Huge shout out to Coach TC Taylor. This is a great photo, man. Absolutely love the photo. Hey, y'all know what bothered me about this photo? Let me see if you can guess. Just take a wild guess. See how well y'all know me.
For me, it's going to be TC, not in the middle. It's 2 on one side, 3 on the other.
Now the goalpost.
No, I ain't even see the goalpost. The goalpost ain't it. No, what bothered me about it was the fact that I actually turned the helmets that way.
Yeah.
Them last 2 helmets are turned too far out.
You ain't go to sleep.
No, I'm telling you, I have to see it and don't see it. I just got to move on.
Okay.
No,
you did it.
So remember, for those that was watching when we got ready to take this photo, I went to the actual helmets and turned all the helmets in position to where you could see the JSU block.
Right.
And then the first 3 helmets look like they are perfect. Then you get to them last 2 and it's like, I went too far over.
It's like the offensive lineman got too much of a gap right there in that third one, huh?
Hey, I know, Bunny. I'm sorry. I tell you.
Somebody put in the comment, they said FAMU colors.
No, that ain't FAMU color. It's like
y'all are crazy.
But anywho, but no, man, this is a great photo. Shout out to the media team, man, for doing that. It said King got a point though. Hey, you see what I'm saying? If you OCD, you get it, man. Trust me when I tell you, bro. It's a hard thing to struggle with. You know what I mean? But anyway, that is right, Miss Faye. Rafay, that's great. President England 1500. That's right. Let's see. It just had a great time out there, man. Just forget us, but shout out to Austin, Ash, James, Bully, and my gosh, I want to say his last. What's his brother's name? Is it Mark? God damn it! I'm sorry, my man with the hoodie over there on the end. Anyway.
You say James?
I said James. This is the young man on the end right here. I forgot his name already, man. So these guys do well, man.
Kudos to the team, dog. They do amazing damn work, bro.
Hey, man, I got to get caught up on Raising Canaan, by the way. I'm going to go see who run he is. Mike. That's what he is. Mike. That's right. Micah. That's my bad. What I was going to say? I'm about to say Marcus, but it's Mike. I didn't want to mess his name up, so I wasn't going to say nothing at all. But great job to them. And definitely we appreciate the support. The biggest damper of the game, though, HBCU Premier Sports and More put out a update that Davis Richard is looking at about a 4 to 6 month minimum recovery time from a dislocated ankle that occurred on a touchdown run. We were really standing right there, and when he went down, I was like, ooh. But I was hoping that I didn't see what I thought I saw, and then when he didn't get up, first thing I said is that's broke. And I had I had my camera going, and I actually got the clip. I kept saying it, so eventually you want to you turn the camera off because it's like, man, you don't want to. But man, he was in a lot of pain, and hopefully, I'll say it this way: hopefully, the 4 to 6 months thing is kind of a worst case scenario. Hopefully, he can get back sooner than that. I pray and hope that it's not as bad as a dislocated ankle is way different than being broke. If you're dislocated, that means you can put it back in place and then it can kind of heal. But broke means you got to have some type of surgical repair. And hopefully if that's what I'm reading right, cool. But the other part we want to get to is like this is what his coach had to say. He said, I promise he would not have played if I knew that those dumbass coaches were going to run him. He should have never left the pocket. You want to run, hand it off to those All-American backs. Make it make sense. And I said today, though you're on mute, by the way, I said today that I stand with Coach Trey Oliver on this 10 times over, man. He was 100% right, and he had every right to feel the way he feel. I saw it in his face when he came down there on the field, the way he was looking. You know what I mean? And it sucked the life out of the stadium, man. First drive, and it just, like I said, but hopefully he heals up and a lot quicker and can get get an opportunity, man. I think Davies Richard is absolutely an NFL quarterback if given an opportunity to. The kid is a stud, and I'm gonna tell you right now, this whole co-offensive player of the year crap. Davies Richard to me was the top player in HBCU from a quarterbacking standpoint, and Jeremy Musa is I would just say warm garbage.
I tell you what, man, it's going. I guess it's safe to say this weekend events definitely added more vitriol to that Howard North Carolina Central game, huh?
It will.
So I'm not sure. Unless Coach Oliver know for sure, I'm not sure. Whether that was a really designed play call or
it was.
It was designed.
I got the update today. It was actually a zone read RPO where the running back motioned over TD in the direction in which the quarterback was going to run anyway. So he was going to run that play. He was going to run the ball.
So the running back going to be used as a blocker.
Yeah, basically. So he was pulling that thing regardless.
Okay.
It just was a bad play call. If I'm him, like I said on Twitter today, if I'm him, I'm handing that joint off, bro. I'm just not taking that chance because he also played in the Hula Bowl. So having already played in the bowl game, and then two, this goes back to the point we made over in practice when we was talking to Gerald. Man, shout out to Gerald, shout out to Blue, man. They did a freaking outstanding job.
Yeah.
Scouting. Also Malik Yobi from Draft HBCU. Shout out to those brothers, man, for doing the work that they do. But this is one of the things we talked about. I'm telling y'all, man, and Shaq and Doug Williams are gonna have to. They're gonna have to get with some of these younger football aficionados and those that are doing the real work in scouting these players. I absolutely think we should have had more players at the Legacy Bowl, in my opinion. If you have enough players, it's a 4-quarter game. It's a scrimmage game. Let each quarterback get a quarter. Let the running backs get a quarter. I'm bringing 4 running backs. I'm bringing 4 quarterbacks. It was no. Did y'all notice that on Team Robinson we only had 2 running backs? We only had 2 running backs because we only had and both of them were from Texas Southern. Darius Owens and Ja'Cory Howard. We had 3, but Jarvion Howard left.
That's right. So
they only had 2 in uniform.
And Irv bagged out.
But this is the funny part. Did y'all know that they actually still thought that Irv was coming to the Legacy Bowl? They had a jersey out for him.
Wow.
So how does that happen? How do you not know that Irv Mulligan is not coming to the Legacy Bowl? So what I'm saying is, I thought the Legacy Bowl did a phenomenal job this past week with media access, the way that they, took care of the players. I just think a little bit more. I think we need a few more players because here's what's happening. When you mix in D2 and D1 and NAIA and all that all in one game, I mean, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? You may have a full D1 because what did we look at? What did we say? We looked at the trenches, right?
I want to add to the David Richards situation as well.
Go ahead, you got it.
I heard that the young man was in good spirit. As a matter of fact, when he was carted off the field, he threw
he looked
up. Yeah, he looked pretty cool. Like that everything's going to be all right. So I hope he heal. Quick healing to him. I hope it doesn't affect his stock too much.
That's not just on the agent, bro.
Right.
Not coming from an HBC. I'm sorry, TD. Yeah. You didn't say nothing about y'all media team not showing up, but now you want to blame the agent for the player, for the coaches being idiots and running the stupid plays. But I'm with you though. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. Also, on to the HBCU Legacy Bowl, I want to give mad shout out, kudos, and respect and appreciation for Mr. Doug Wiggins for even in the co-sponsors of the HBCU Legacy Bowl. Because there have been so many players that have left HBCU space and never returned, never contributed anything or tried to do anything. And the fact that he's taking the time out to put this together much respect and kudos goes out to he and his staff. So we appreciate that. And you are the things that you are saying right with more players and things. Man, we know this. You know, I didn't make the first year. Second year was okay. This year has gotten better.
It did.
So I see each year they're making improvements to it. So I'm looking forward to be even better on next year. But one thing I will say, I think they might want to watch the schedule a little tighter and not schedule a baseball game on the same day. If it's going to be at Tulane, you know, other than that,
I'm gonna be honest. I mean, they won't be able to do anything about that because they're working on the confines of fixing in with.
You know what they can do though? Move it up.
Schedule an off game.
No, make the game earlier. Because there is no more NFLPA Collegiate Bowl, right?
That's a good point.
Play that bowl. I talked to Blue about this earlier. This was his point. And it was a great point. I'm not going to steal his juice like I came up with this. The point was play this game earlier, like in like mid-January, like to mid to late January, because the HBCU players could actually elevate their potential to possibly get to a Senior Bowl invite or possibly get get to the combine, and then the HBCU combine could be probably the last thing that they do. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just it's so many.
That's a good point, though.
What you're really doing is not, you're not nitpicking. You're just saying you have improved. So that TD, I appreciate that. The game was absolutely better. The gameplay just wasn't very good when we got to the game. The week up to the game was good.
But I'm gonna be honest, to add to your point though, because we got other examples. We can use the Senior Bowl. We can use. You're not gonna have great, you know what I'm saying, play in the game. Most of the time in these games, what you will have is like individual play.
What I'm talking about, not a good gameplay, was, well, I could just say the players that didn't play well. It was just simple stuff, man. You know, that's all I'm really trying to say.
Yeah. Because I would say most of the time, like even the Senior Bowl, you'll have like individual play that could stand out. You know what I'm saying? That's why they go so hard on the practices up to the week, because being that it's football and you need chemistry, it's hard to really get that in 1 week's time. And so that's why, you don't typically have high score games, whether it's the Senior Bowl or the blue gray. I remember they used to have the blue gray game, all those different games. They're typically low scoring, and the defenses tend to be better than the offenses because of chemistry. It's a short turnaround to learning things, and the playbooks are simple. So it kind of makes sense in that regard.
No, I get it. I totally get it. I just, if you ask the question like how could it be better, and I'm not even nitpicking. Now, what, to EA's point, you know what? You don't have to worry about that going forward, because I can guarantee you that if there's an HBCU player that's got a draft grade, probably not going to play that game. So they're going to need to start looking at reserve players and having a pool of reserve. Matter of fact, why not just bring them? Because I think what was told to me was there was some players that was there that didn't either. I think they got HBCU combine invites, but they didn't get an invite they didn't get to play in the Legacy Bowl game. Like, how does that, you know what I'm saying? Like stuff like they were good enough that the NFL combine invitation warranted them being in New Orleans for that because every player that played in Legacy Bowl didn't participate in the combine.
And they should mirror.
Oh, without question, they should mirror. Absolutely, it should. I actually thought that's what it was, but apparently it wasn't. But again,
you know what?
I'm not going to trip about a player sitting out of a game. You go in, you show what you can do, because in the end, you really do got to try to get to the camp, man, and you want to get there healthy.
And another point why that's such a good point that you made is because they should mirror each other, because even when you like go back and rewatch the broadcast, it's presented like this in this game is the best and brightest of HBCU ball. And so to your point, if you got guys who made the combine and they're not in this game, it's kind of oxymoronic in a sense. You know what I'm saying?
Man, look at this.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It should mirror.
Hold on, man. Look at this man, bro. Man, look at you, man. What up, man? That's my boy right there, man. That's my boy right there, man. Hey, man, love you, bro. Appreciate the support, baby.
What's up, Nug? What's going on, man?
Man, we
Hey,
gonna
Nug
link up.
on the team, right?
My Nug coming in this thing, showing y'all. Look, I'm supporting my big bros, man. That's what I'm talking about, brother. God damn it,
Hey,
Nug, man.
What's up, Nug? Congratulations.
Nug played in this game last year. Did his thing, you know. So shout out to all those that did get a chance to play in this game. But go ahead, TD.
Yeah, I wanted to add to it as well. I really don't expect a whole lot of fireworks from these type of games. You know, just if you get them, great. You know, if a person standing out like that, good. I saw someone put in the chat. They hope the crowd continue to grow. Yes, the crowd is bigger than it was last year. And here's the thing, people. The weather was perfect.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, the weather was perfect to be at the game. I also kind of want to add. I want to add on to something that Joe said prior to me coming on. I think and I thought this, and then I was kind of speaking with Dub earlier, and they need to do something about coaching, man. Maybe they need to do like the Senior Bowl or the Shrine Bowl. Try to get some NFL coaches in here to coach this team, because when you have your coach in here doing the they're gonna show favoritism, and I say this from a Jackson State player point of view. So Deontay Graham, he wasn't too happy with the playing time, and what kind of did it for me when he said that, and it was like 2 hours after the game, we spoke with him. It just so happened when I went up to the stands for a moment, and I'm sitting next to a Prairie View player. He said he had just played, his eligibility well. He just came down to the game. And he was telling me, he said, hey, number 72 and number 60, both of them played left guard and left tackle for Prairie View on my team this year. And I noticed they stayed in the game a lot.
Because Bubba McDowell was the damn coach.
Right. And I was watching on the sideline. I wonder why. I was like, why Graham went in? Because I actually got footage of him blocking, but he was doing a good job. I mean, taking me in downfield and everything.
That's why I know to your point, TD. I love it. Keep going. I ain't go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead.
So I noticed that, and then talking to Deontay after the game, he said that's what it was. He said they coach was the coach, and so he making sure they player get shine. And he said he had some words for the coach, and hope
DJ said some stuff too. DJ said this shit. He said this shit was a waste of my damn time. I'm gonna just repeat it. I'm gonna say it since he can't say it. I'm serious. TD, I'm glad you said that, because I great point, man. Great freaking point. And about the crowd, hold on. About the crowd, I just want to say this real quick. Dr. Little actually came up to me and said, hey, he said, you was here last year, right? I said, yep. He said, there's more people when I said, yeah, it will. He said, yeah, that's the brand. So he was acknowledging the fact that a lot of people showed up to the game. You know that the Boom brought some folks out there, man, because the Boom was there and they cut up, they showed out. They had a great, amazing halftime show, and they did their thing too. But go ahead, Zoe.
No, I want to mention this point with regards to I have what I think is a great suggestion from a coaching standpoint, because we look at with regards to minority coaches in the NFL, and then we also we know that coaching is a fraternity, and so I think there should be a great marriage in this game. I really think that you should take all the up and coming minority coaches, and for an example, like with Team Robinson, you should take all the up and coming NFL coaches, right, from the NFC, for an example. Different minority coaches from the NFC, let them coach, because you can. And the reason why I suggest this, and you should split it. You know what I'm saying? So let coaches from the NFC to coach Team Robinson, as well as with the select coach from the collegiate level to coach Team Robinson, and have a merger there. That's a networking opportunity. And there's also, since you're going to have scouts, they get NFL coaching, and it also benefits the NFL coaches who needs to get, some other different type of experience that could benefit them as well. And then you take the AFC coaches for Team Gaither. You see what I'm saying? You could split the staff. You can have about 4 or 5 NFL guys, and then 4 or 5 the guys from Team Gaither.
I got an idea if you just don't even put the NFL in it. How about you take the Team Gaither coach and let them coach Team Robinson, and you let the Team Robinson coaches coach Team Gaither?
I can rock
that way ain't no coaches on the staff coaching none of their own players. So if you got a Chennis Berry and a whatchamacallit, now I know Chennis was on the opposite side, so he still would have been coaching. My point is, TD, that I don't know what all goes into getting an NFL coach on the sideline. You probably would have to get the NFL and more involved. I understand that it may be contractual stuff, it may be some payments. The point that I'm making is this a simple thing? That's disappointing, though. It's disappointing for you to say that, hey, I'm sitting next to a Prairie View player, and he's like, oh, they're my teammates, and they was in the game the whole time, and we know that the head coach for Prairie View is actually one of the main coaches who actually replaced Willie Simmons.
And at the time, I did not know that. I didn't find out that until
that's what I'm saying. Like,
talked to the player after the game. Once after the game, we ran into him at the restaurant.
That's cool. I love that idea. They'll do it. I really do, because Antoine Bethea was there. He was at the game. You know what I mean? So I would love. You said you saw John. What was it, Simmons? You got signed your hat, TD?
Oh yeah. Well, I was saying that for Will T and all the Broncos fans that listening. Justin Simmons was an honorary captain at the game.
He took that damn hat off and got that signature.
No, because look, true story. I didn't know who it was, but TD was like, "We got a Bronco in the house."
Yes, indeed, man.
Hey, kid, we was down in the end zone and I was talking. He making some great points, and I was like, I ain't want to rush him, but I was like, hey, hold up, bro. I ain't trying to be funny, and then Justin Simmons is way up there on the sideline. I don't know how long it'll be before you go up in the press box. So let me run down here and see can I get this.
I'll be back. That's exactly what
he made sure he let me know. He came on the, TD came on the, how you had them old dude that got something they want to show it to you. Walk up to me and said, let me show you something, young boy. Look at that right there. Look at that right there. I got that. TD said, I'd never be able to wear this hat again. I got that signature. Hey, but he didn't say it like that, but he did say that though.
Hey, so the story behind that, I walked up to him, man, cool as a fan, bro. And I introduced myself, told him, I was a Bronco fan. I had been in Denver several times. My wife and I showed him some pictures and stuff like that. And, we was talking about, getting the season on track. And I said, man, I don't have a pen or no paper, anything to get your autograph on. I said, I ain't trying to be no group of them, but can we take a picture then? He said, yeah. So we took the picture. And so as I was walking away, I said, you know what? Man, you can sign this hat. And so I went looking for a pen and asked some young ladies about some pens. She said, you can use this stolen borrow one right here. So I took it. He signed the hat, and I took the hat out, put it in my bag. So shout out to Justin Simmons, man. That was pretty cool.
I'm going to tell y'all something. Y'all really don't have a clue, man. TD is hilarious, dog.
Man, stop.
Yeah, they got it. Yeah, he is, man. No, hey, listen, man. Overall, man, had a great time there. I'm actually looking forward to the interviews. I want to say a huge shout out to the New Orleans chapter, man.
You know what?
Shout out to Ray, man.
I'm finna get out of line because it's been on my mind since I left New Orleans. But if it's 476 people in here, if any of y'all go to New Orleans, listen to me. It's a 500-pounder inside of me dying to come out. Go to Monday.
Ooh, was awesome.
Get them sweet potato beignets. You're gonna thank me later.
Yeah, good stuff, man. And it wasn't just Mondays, man. It was we went to Deanie's after the game. We went to New Orleans Seafood and Spirits Thursday night. I mean, it was a treat, man. I got me a coaster from compliments of the New Orleans alumni chapter. Jason. So I got me a JSU coaster for my old fashions that I'll be drinking, not on the screen, but we had a good old time in Deanie's, man. We had a good time at Deanie's. I'll just say that. Shout out to shout out to the young lady that I was having a debate with on who had the best band in New Orleans, high school band. She was saying it was St. Augustine. I said it was Carr because obviously I'm a Jackson State Boom supporter. You know what I'm saying? Hey, so I need to try to.
Hey, Blue.
Hey, they went to a whole other side over there. Blue and TD went over there. They were talking O-line stuff all day, man. That's what I'm talking about.
Blue, I'm here, baby. Let's roll.
Yeah, JSU players. But listen, shout out to the JSU players, though. Shout out to QB1, Jacoby and Morgan. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to DD came down and the boys came to support and the other. I keep forgetting. I think KD is his name. I got to learn his name, man. They were out there with us, man.
The tight end.
The tight end, yeah. I think it's KD, I think. But I know his name. Camp start this weekend on the 2nd, and plan on being there. And, man, listen.
Hey, before you go on, Ken, let me say this about Ken, y'all. So Ken and Mark is sitting on the side, right? So Blue and I say, okay, Ken said, hey, man, we ready to go? I said, hold up. We want to go check out these big boys practice. Because we can't hear so much about Team Gator. So Blue and I walk over there, man, and the boy started clowning. Next thing I know, he was over there like this.
I got some footage, too.
Hey, Zoe, number 71.
Oh, yeah, Hayden was out there. That's right.
Oh, man.
Hey, man, 71 from A&T. He was cutting up.
To reach somebody, man. Hey, yeah. but look at King. Hey, I knew that boy. I said I knew his motor was too high. You know he got a flag in the game, man. Sportsmanlike conduct.
Yeah, he was cutting up, man. Hey, he had some fire, man.
Man. Yeah, that was interesting, man.
But no, it was. But overall, man, I would, if I had to grade it, you know, just overall experience, man, it was, you know, I would give it a you know, kind of a minus. You know what I'm saying? We got some opportunities. I had a great time, man. I think the players had a great time. I did it. Tariq Stewart, I already scheduled the interview with him on. Look at Blue. Blue say he working. Got him on, dog. I think I got that clip, man. I'm gonna post it on the channel, and just, you know, and see what's out there, man. But no, it was overall it was definitely a great time, and just look forward to, you know, next time coming down there. Next thing coming.
You know what? I'll say what's up, Cole. Hey, Blue. I'll say this. Hey, so I'll say this about Tariq. I played with arguably one of the best offensive linemen ever in Walter Jones. And I never seen that guy miss a block. Matter of fact, that boy was so good. He won JUCO Player of the Year as an offensive lineman. He was just that good. He ended up going to Florida State, and of course, he had a stellar career with Seattle.
We in this time. What's up, Warren? Go ahead, bro.
What's up, Nip?
And actually, you know, he went on. He was featured on The Blind Side. But with that being said,
he played The Blind Side.
Well, actually, he was. You know, when the movie first came on with the narration, and she was explaining what a left tackle does, and how much they get paid. If you watch it, number 71 for Seattle, there's Walter Jones.
Oh, okay.
He's known for pulling cars.
Known for pulling Cadillacs in Mobile. Yeah, that's how he trained. Man, Walter Jones was the best player I ever played with, man. But I said that to say this about Tariq. Tariq is good. I'm not gonna say he's Walter Jones, but his motors, his energy, you know what I'm saying, different. Walter was a quiet nasty. This guy was high motor nasty. He was talking man. He got mad when the coach wouldn't let him go in with the guards, man. He playing talker. He trying to get in on every play. Blue said, look at him, man. He trying to get in on every play. So man, it was very exciting, man, to see him work.
Absolutely, man. So I just had I got a funny message, man. It's a funny thing, man. That debate's still going on. Carr is the best high school band in the New Orleans city. I know they're gonna say St. Aug. I get it, but
man, Carr, I don't want to with Carr.
But shout out to you know, to everyone, man. Had a great weekend. Let's move it on, man. Let's move on. We got something we do want to talk about before I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link, man. So if y'all want to come up, we're gonna touch on. David Banner has some interesting comments, bro. I'm gonna play the video clip for you guys to check it out. most people don't know. That's right, half man. JSU. I told them, JSU don't get no love down there in the boot now, so they already know that we kind of the most hated down there. And if they don't understand that rival, then they don't understand why we always choose Carr over everybody else. Because if you see Boone perform, then you'll see why. They might have a bigger band than Carr. I don't know. They said, "Oh man, look at that! St. All can't carry Edna Carr's equipment."
I mean, water's wet.
What's up, Randy? Randy, you done canceled your membership? I'm disappointed in you, brother. You done went black on me, bro. You ain't making them trip through the Poconos no more, huh, bro?
Nah, he out other way,
But anyway, man, hey, let's play this clip of David Banner real quick, man, and we'll come back and talk about it. He has some very interesting things. Really, for folks that don't know, if you didn't watch the whole interview, David Banner was actually talking about police reform. He's the sound bite that made the damn internet go crazy today. And there was a debate about HBCUs being too expensive. So I'll play the clip and we'll be right back.
Everybody wants the bag. So since we know that, we got to approach it like this. Watch this. 300 people, $100 a month. Now we go to games, we buy music, we smoke weed, we do whatever we want to. I'm asking for $100 from each person that lives in, you're right, there probably won't be a kumbaya moment, but let's just say for now, because I agree with you, I think some of them need to die, to be honest with you, because some of our people are the problem, and more of the problem than some of them white folks, I believe. But 300 people times $100, guess how much that is? It's $30,000 for 1 month. Watch this. Times 12. That's $360,000. You can't pay some strong black men to police your neighborhood. You can't get some consistency in the high school by paying, not begging or guilting somebody or telling them they're going to hell or heaven. Pay them to police our community. Take care of people. Pay these children. I spoke at to some black lawyers who were graduating from law school, and I told them I failed you. And they said, why? I said, because I can't afford to hire you. Black people are the only people that send their brightest and their best to white colleges and white people. We talk about the football players and the black basketball players for dating white women, where you sent them to white colleges and made them be around all white people anyway. The problem is that most black people want to be white in the first place and won't admit it. They don't want to stay around black people when they get their money. They don't want to go to HBCUs. I don't think HBCUs should be a choice. I think that should be the only option that you have, unless you're trying to go and get something and bring it back to the community. So what I'm saying is $360,000 in your community by each person donating $100 a month, I don't think that's asking a lot. And just to show you that I don't like the system, but to show you that I do think about it, imagine if in every cop car there was somebody from that community. One of the reasons why for both black and white cops, it's easy to kill a black kid in that community because your kids don't have to live with those kids. Shoot a kid that you live in their community. Somebody gonna see your kids at high school and the elementary, or somebody gonna come to your house.
Woo! Spicy like cayenne. Woo! Man, he dropped a lot on that, man. I wanted to just get the full context because ain't nothing like a sound bite. You want to get context. You want to know exactly what the heck are they talking about. And I listen, we're gonna be respectful. If, I invite the chat to come up. Come on up. If you got something you want to add. But the thing I took away from what Banner had to say more than anything was two things. He talked about group economics. We do this a lot on this channel. We've made a lot of waves. We've done a lot of things, man. We put over $100,000 in Jackson State athletics this past year through this channel alone, through various different initiatives, and we plan to continue to do that. We actually have some, I'm going to say this real quick, and then we'll get into that, because I know we got the ticker down at the bottom, and we do have an NIL collective that we host a chat where we do discuss a lot of opportunities and the direction in which we want to take and take care of our athletes in the best way that we can through this platform. So if you're not a part of that and you would like to donate to that cause, you can actually donate straight to the channel through one of those methods at the bottom, whether it be Givelify, whether it be Cash App, PayPal, Zelle. Now, here's why I say that. Breaking news, KC-1400 Media is going to sign not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 track athletes.
We done went up. That news to me.
We're going to sign 6 track athletes on Friday. Shout out to Coach Thorne and his staff. We're excited about this next level of NIL that we're taking our efforts into that arena. And I won't get into the names of that, but when we do sign those athletes, we will be posting that on all forms of all of our social media. We will be featuring them on the page. And we just want to also show we're going to take care of 3 female athletes, 3 male athletes within the track team. And we're going to just work our way up until we're going to continue to build this thing until, you know what? KC-1400 Media Group is hoping to have a brand ambassador from every single sport at Jackson State University. And we ain't talking about it no more. We're trying to be about it. And just imagine, I want to take something he said. Now, I know he was talking about police reform, and we'll get into the meat and potatoes of what he was saying as far as like HBCUs. We all know David Banner is a pro-black, it's a radical thought for some. But Zoe say this all the time. Black people devalue black things. And I think what he's trying to really mainly talk about is how that it's us that really don't love us the way we need to love us. There's nothing wrong with you loving your stuff more.
Hey,
like that's why I was trying to.
Hey, King, I'm sorry. Hey, before you branch off into that, I wanted to add on to something you said before you get away.
Oh, we want to add to what?
Well, what you said about, about the NIL and the track players.
I wasn't leaving it.
Okay.
I wasn't leaving it. I was just I just want y'all to know that TD just interrupted me in the middle of me saying what I was saying. So when y'all, this is a joke.
I know.
People be attacking me in the comments saying, you always cutting Zoe off. You never let TD finish what he's saying. You're just rude. All right, anyway, I'm just playing. Go ahead, bro. I just had to capture it because they be kicking my ass, bro. I'm telling you, they be on my neck. And I promise y'all, I'm sorry. I tell them every time I apologize. But go ahead, Doc. We're going to come back to that. See, they laughing. They know it because I be getting my butt.
They say in fact. But no, what I was going to say to add on what you were saying about, this channel, donate the amount of stuff that was donated, through this channel and through NIL and stuff. But I also want to say definitely, thanks to you guys, Tiger Nation, you know what I'm saying? And you should, we, are showing as Tiger Nation and the donations and stuff is showing how we can come together to do these type things. Yes, and sir. With the vision that Ken has and putting in place, and with, in the support of the, of you guys, the Tiger Nation, and the Platinum Child, different stuff like that, man. We showing these and these players really, and athletes are really appreciative of what goes on. That's all I wanted to say, bro. Because our fans are amazing, bro. We are amazing because we are fans as well.
Look, man, David Banner said, if you took, how many he say, 300, Zoe?
Yes.
300, giving $100.
That's what he said. He said it's $30,000.
$30,000 a month, right?
All right. He said you multiply that time 12.
Imagine if we got 462 people watching us right now. Boy, oh boy, you talking about an HBCU having a major collective that could really do some things on the next level. And for those, so this is what's crazy. I posted that video on the channel today and just said we were gonna talk about it, right? And the first thing people do is jump on there and say, well, he from Jackson. He from Jackson. Why he ain't doing something for Jackson State? I'm like, first of all, David Banner went to Southern.
He went to Southern.
And he is pro-Southern. But if y'all know him, that man pro-Southern, man. He pro-HBCU as well. But, Joe, ain't nothing wrong with that lane.
Hey, we're going. I just want to touch on the coaches for the Legacy Bowl.
Let's go.
I think they actually should get NFL coaches.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Doug
Williams, because
yeah,
because you know what I mean, they can take the information they gain back from the practices and everything, and they can relay it to their team, to their head coaches. You know what I mean? And then they can also, you know what I mean, show them how, you know, actually doing NFL plays and stuff they do in the NFL. You know what I mean? That's what I think they should do. And I think they should have more players, at least 4 of each position. I know it's a lot of seniors graduating from HBCUs to do it. I don't know if it's because it's the money wise, they don't have the money to support all those players, but they should do that. That way each player can play 1 quarter, just like they do in every other college bowl game. That's all I gotta say, man. I'm gone.
Bro, I appreciate you as always coming up. He came up with a mic drop. Hey, I love that NFL coach initiation.
I mean, even if you don't do a head coach, go to a perspective.
You know what I'm saying? You can attach what do you say, AFL, AFC, NFC to each team, and you go get some of these. They got a lot of coaches and a lot
of up and coming minority coaches like KJ Flag. You know, the Raiders head coach, he just got promoted. I mean, there are a lot of up and coming assistant head coaches and, you know, coordinators and position coaches. But I'm saying get half of them from one conference, plus, you know what I'm saying, a reputable college coach to do Team Robinson or vice versa. Or I'll meet you halfway. I like Ken's point. Take the guys who coach Team Robinson, let them coach Team Gaither and vice versa. You know, that way you won't have any mix-up.
That'll defeat Gaither against Robinson, though.
No, it won't. It's the players. It's the team, not the coach. The reason why we say the coaches is because those players represent that conference. Correct. UFL. Well, I don't even want to say UFL because we didn't even have UFL presence there. Like, they didn't even show up. You know, and I'm good on them right now. And they better have a good product this year, or else I ain't, you know, whatever. But anywho, but no, back to David Banner and what we were saying. So what he was saying was that he said 300 people giving $100 a month could raise $360,000. Do y'all do realize that's the equivalent of what we're trying to do here? And we you know, we need more donors. You know what I'm saying? We need more who want to get active with this NIL space, jump into this, and so we can bless these student athletes, man. If you're interested in joining what we got going on, shoot me an email, KC-1400mediagroup@gmail.com. Simply because if we ain't gonna do it, who will do it? Because we're gonna make a big deal out of it, just so y'all know. So stay tuned now. Stay tuned. Got a big thing planned, and when we roll this thing out with track, y'all gonna see. We met as a team and just kind of decided, you know, track. We broke down some numbers as far as what we want to try to do. Track season is 3 seasons when it comes to track, but I mean, we got nothing but love for Coach Mark Thorne and his staff and his program that he's put together, man. So we feel we're blessed to be able to delve into this space. We felt like track was an easy addition. Football is expensive, man, and we know trying to sign football deals in market with football players can be probably top of the food chain type stuff. But we want to circle back. We will be prepared for the 2024 basketball season when we kick off to have some women's basketball ambassadors as well as some men's basketball ambassadors and even some baseball ambassadors. So we'll go out there. We'll scout the talent. We'll scout the character, you know, that we're looking for and the players that we feel can represent our brand, and we'll go from there. And we'll continue to do it. And we're gonna continue to do it. So you don't have to be a part of the NIL chat to be a part of that. If you want to send a donation through Cash App and say, hey, put this toward whatever y'all doing with NIL, then go ahead and do that. We appreciate it. Go ahead, TD.
Yeah, hey, I want to say, speaking on track and Coach Thorne, I would like to make a call to my people down in C-Town in Canton, Exit 119. I know we're getting ready to go to the Coliseum of basketball, but if anybody know Antonio Spiller, tell him he desperately wanted at Jackson State for the track team. Every game I go to, Ken, I ain't know Coach Thorne that strong, man. I walk by me and a man grab him by my arm and say, hey, what about my guy, Antonio Spiller, man? So if anybody know him, tell him at least give Jackson State a visit. Give a shout out to Coach Thorne. They say he fast, Ken.
Hey, I believe he looked like he's still in tip-top shape.
Now I'm talking about the young man he trying to get from Kenton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
But here's the thing, though. I mean, you know, what we're trying to do is put ourselves in a good space to where we can actually, you know, help in that regard, man. So let's get active, man. But like D said, if we got 300 people to do $100 a month, this ain't no infomercial, man. Y'all listen, one thing about it, y'all can see everything. I got everything in the chat. So if you're a part of the chat, I'm about as transparent. I'm an open book, man. I overshare sometimes, probably. Ain't no such thing when you're dealing with people who want to get active and want to, you know, pool their money together and be able to get active with NIL. There is no transparency. I mean, there is no too much transparency when it comes to that. These aren't paid things. The athletes are the ones that get blessed. You know, we cover administrative stuff, but that's very minimal unless it requires us to have to be mobile or something like that. But for the most part, that's what we're looking at trying to do. So excited about that. But I wanted to go back to David Banner because he did mention, I don't want to steal his thunder, but he was talking about police reform and how you can get some people that look like you in your community to be a part of, to help assist the community, you know. Now, with that being said, he made a comment I thought was pretty powerful. He said he don't feel like HBCU should be an option. He feel like HBCU should be the only option. I was like, wow. That's interesting. So I'll yield to you guys and see what you got on that, and we'll go from there. We got a guy named JV Griffin that won state last year in the 400, 300, 200. Hey, Coach Thorne, if you're watching, need you to go do it. Hey, who is we? Who? Run Darius. Run Davis. Where you from, brother? Run Darius. So when you say we, who is we? Because we don't know how to find him. But I guess we can find his name, TD. LaJavion Griffin. Thoughts on oh, he's in Canton. C-Town. TD, you got some work to do, bro.
Hey, man, I'm working.
Hey, so listen, because I'll say this. Brother Seeley, if you want to come on up now, just so you guys know, the back hour of the show, man, we are going to talk about this bill. Brother Seeley had an amazing piece in his newsletter that he sent out and just kind of spoke about it, man. But Senate bill, we have a Senate bill that's been proposed to the Mississippi legislation to try to close 3 Mississippi universities by 2028. So everybody that wants to be a part of that conversation, you're more than welcome to join the conversation through the link. Come on up. Let's talk about it, man. I did ask Brother CD to come up and touch on that. I want 85. Hey, the 85. Come on up, man. Because you were dropping some haymakers in that chat today. I need you to come on up. We gotta have some real dialogue about this. And I just will say this, man. It sucks if it does happen. I ain't worried about JSU doors closing because they're not gonna do that. I ain't gonna.
What just happened?
Nothing. There's a huddle in Virginia. Has roots to JSU. Snake School love to go after the same players we are. So about we gonna spare the, you know, we're not going down that road, man. We have been man, you better get on up here, man. You ain't sleepy. Come on up here, bro. Come on up here. This is my why. I'm working on giving football season tickets to the top 2 junior high schools at my alma mater. I would love to see that happen at every Jackson high school by an alumni of the school. That's a great initiative, man. I like that. I love that. Brother Seeley, how you doing, man?
Hey, man, how y'all doing? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. Doing well, man.
You know, what's really interesting about this bill is that this is officially, and I say officially, because they've done it more times than this is officially the 3rd go round. So 1992 was the first official time they put it in print, that they had legislation that they wanted to either merge or close. And that was, and people need to understand that it was official because by 1992, Jackson State alum, and this man doesn't get enough credit, he's a Jackson State alum, also played football at Jackson State and then went on to become an attorney, Alvin Chambliss, right? We talk a lot about former JSU football players. So Alvin Chambliss was a Jackson State football player, went on to go to law school, and he became the primary lawyer, the primary litigant in the Ayers case. And he actually won at the Supreme Court level twice. So you have to understand what happened. So he went, the Ayers case goes all the way up, of course, filed by Jake Ayers, and Jake Ayers said, hey, look, Jackson State, Alcorn, and Valley are not getting the money that they're supposed to get even after meeting the benchmarks. And I think that's what's missed about the Ayers case. The Ayers case wasn't just black schools asking for money. The Ayers case was saying, no. This not a gift. Y'all are not giving us the money we've deserved. We've hit the enrollment benchmarks. We've hit the program benchmarks. We've hit the graduation benchmarks. We've hit the enrollment benchmarks. Like all the benchmarks, for people who don't know, for federal and state monies, right? Not your private giving, but all federal and state monies that a college gets is because they hit a benchmark. So when you see Jackson State getting X amount of dollars from the state or X amount of dollars from the federal government, that's not a gift. That's not white folks saying, oh, we want to give. No. Jackson State, every year, every university has to submit an end of the year report, just like it's your job, just like every job, there's an end of the year. And so every department has to submit a end of the year report, and every school has to submit an end of the year report. And so based on that, that's how you get your money. So the Ayers case was simply saying, we did all these things and we still hadn't gotten our money. And so the Supreme Court essentially had these sweeping changes and said, here's what's needed to be done. However, here's where, there's always a wrench in the game, right? A crook in the game. Because that was Scalia's court. So Scalia was essentially head of the Supreme Court. And it was that, people talk about the conservative court today. That Scalia Supreme Court was a pretty conservative court. And so what the Scalia Supreme Court did, they said, you guys are right. You have proved your argument. You have won this lawsuit. So it's important to know that we won the lawsuit. But what they said was, here's what needs to happen. But because we are a conservative court and believe in states' rights, we're going to remand it back to the state and let the state resolve it. And so what Mississippi did, once it got remanded back to Mississippi, what IHL and the racist white legislators did, said, okay, here's what we're going to do to make it fair. We're going to merge Alcorn, Mississippi State. We're going to merge Jackson State with Ole Miss, and we're going to turn we're going to turn Valley into a prison, right? That was the official in writing response. So that happened in 92. And so from 92 to 94, you had this mass HBCU student movement that went national that culminated with one of the biggest mass movement rallies in the state of Mississippi, which was the march from Jackson State to downtown. Trent was there. A lot of people was there. Look here, and and the sisters in the chat, feel free to laugh at me. Ken and TD, I was there because I had my perm with my Ampro gel, and it rained, and my Ampro gel ran down my back. I had on a white shirt, and all my Ampro gel got on my white shirt, and I ruined that white shirt marching for the cause. So, so feel free to laugh at your boy. I'm just glad there wasn't no pictures there, and that was one of the largest. And so what happened was the national outcry was such that they tabled it. Notice what I said. They didn't stop it. They tabled it. And so 1994, they tabled it. 2009, most of us remember 2009. And so 2009, they were back. They were back at this. And so 2009 is when we remember the whole outcry of the mergers again. They were more open about the mergers, and then unfortunately, President Mason kind of got caught up in that with the plan that he had for the Jacob State for the Jacob State University to merge the three schools. And so that was 2009, 2010. There was another outcry, and it was tabled again. And so now here we are again, 2024. And it is essentially the same bill. The cool thing about the bill, and as Ken said, I did an emergency. I usually try not to send my newsletter except on Friday. I try not to flood people's. I try to be respectful and try not to flood people. So you usually only going to get an email from me on Friday. The problem was I heard about this, although the bill was submitted on the 19th. It didn't get public until a couple of days ago. So I actually didn't hear about it until Sunday. I happened to be at a Black History event. Shout out to Dr. Hillary Lackey. He was a speaker at that event. If you don't know who Hillary Lackey is, that man is a walking institution in Jackson State. And so I got that information. I did research for about 4 or 5 hours. Like I was just on my computer. I called Ken. Ken had already heard about it, thanks to D85. And so I was like, literally, all I did on my computer for 4 hours was just get the bill, wanted to make the bill accessible. The great thing about, well, not the great thing about the bill, but for those who don't know, the bill is only like 7 pages. I know a lot of times we'll see bills and we see all this legalese and don't really want to read it. This, you can go online and find this bill. It's pretty straightforward. It's only 6 or 7 pages, and there are 2 really great summaries of the bill. So you can find the bill and 2 really great summaries of the bill. What I will say is that at current, the bill is in a subcommittee. So the bill is in what's called the Mississippi Senate subcommittee. And the problem with that is for it to come out to the full committee, it has to be voted out. Well, you know that's not going to be a problem because on that Senate subcommittee, there are 10 Republicans and 3 Democrats. I do want to give a shout out to one of the Democrats, which is also Senator Hillman Frazier, another Jackson State grad. Yes. Senator Hillman Frazier was on the campus the night of the 1970 attack when law enforcement came and shot up the campus. Hillman Frazier was here with a student there. And Hillman Frazier has been one of those warriors for years in the Senate. And so he's on that committee, but unfortunately, there's only so much he can do because they only have 3 votes. So what you can look forward to is for the next couple of months, they're going to be debating that bill in that Senate committee. It's called the University and Colleges Senate Subcommittee. Okay. They're going to debate it there. They're going to get enough votes on it, and then it will go to the full floor where we know they have a supermajority, and so they can vote on anything. This is where our activism is important. Here's what I mean, and then I'll stop to see if anybody will say anything, question, whatever. This is where activism is important. A lot of people don't know they've actually already passed the bill to take the airport from Jackson. That bill has actually been passed. Like, it's actually law. The reason they haven't done it is because Mayor Lumumba has told them that the minute you do, we just gonna see you. We're gonna sue you, so we're gonna see you in court. So that's why you need the types of elected officials who will stand up to those powers, right? So that's the only reason they haven't taken over the airport, because they want Jackson to give it to them because they don't want the lawsuit. Because, by the way, folks don't know, and I want to say, and I think Brother Jerome and others who live in that South Carolina area, well, the Panthers, Carolina Panthers, they're in which state? Are they in North Carolina? Okay, they're in Charlotte. Yeah. So I think Charlotte is the place where there's an exact there's an exact same lawsuit where they tried to take the airport from Charlotte because there had been, I think, an exodus in white folk. And then, so there's a lawsuit right now. It's the same lawsuit. And so Mayor Lumumba simply said, well, y'all going to have the same legal problems as in Charlotte because we're going to sue and we're just going to tie you up in court. So what they're trying to do, so all of this is the laws where they want to. So remember, this guy who's written this bill, he's also one of the people who wrote one of these last 3 bills where they're trying to take over Jackson's water, where they're trying to make sure that outsiders can elect judges for the city of Jackson, right? Where they can also create a bill where people not living in Jackson can repeal the people that get elected. This is all because they want the airport and they want the city of Jackson. And since they can't take it by vote, they're taking it by legislation. And so this attack now is another way for them to take the city, take the state, by legislation. And I want to end on this point. If you want to know why did it come up again? Let's go back to 2021. And a lot of people missed this. I actually wrote about this in an article, but a lot of people missed this. Our homecoming game, and it was interesting that it was the two teams from the same state. We played Alabama State for homecoming in 2021. 3 hours up the road, Ole Miss was playing Alabama, right? The flagship
That's correct.
college football team. What scared white people to death was that we had, I think, 1,500 more people at our game. Or maybe, correct me, Ken, if I'm wrong on that number. I know we had 1,000. Was it 2,000 more? I know it was at least 1,500.
That's a good question. I want to say it was more like 1,500.
Okay.
That Alabama was at Vaught Hemingway Stadium.
Yep.
And I want to say Alabama had I think that attendance was like 54, and I think we were like, 55 and something?
Something like that.
But maybe we were 58 that game.
And
we were not. We were up there.
That's scared. When they look up and they go,
somebody put the official attendance for the 2021 Jackson State homecoming. This was Coach Prime's first season at the helm. Alabama State. It was jam-packed.
Yep.
Jam-packed. Because I think Alcorn we came back and did like 55,000 or something like that. So I want to say homecoming was 58K. And so y'all put the numbers in the chat. Put the numbers in the chat for me. Go ahead, brother.
And when that happened, that was we have to do something about getting rid of first the vet and Jackson State altogether. Because you have to understand, quiet as it's kept, Ole Miss and Mississippi State, or supporters of Ole Miss and Mississippi State, have always felt that the reason that they've never done more in the SEC is because they always felt that they had to fight Jackson State and Alcorn for players. And because of that, they've always tried to do as much as they can to cripple our athletic program and our academic programs, because even though they talk about the big three, they've always understood Jackson State to one degree and Alcorn as another degree, to siphoning off what they consider as the black talent, both intellectual and physical talent, that they should have. Paris got it in as 53, so 53, 5, 7, 8, which means that Ole Miss and Ole Miss and Alabama didn't even break 53. That's sad. Homecoming 21. And so saying all that is to say this is nothing new. This is just part of the plan. As I started with my article, I said evil never sleeps. And the problem is evil never sleeps, but we tend to. And we have to make sure that we're always awake at the wheel. But our problem is not only are we not awake at the wheel, a lot of times we let other folks drive our car.
Had a lot to do with why so that ties into what Banner was saying. Thoughts on that?
I think that Banner is absolutely. Here's the deal, and all of us are old enough. I'm old enough to remember when it was still odd for some of the best black talent to choose PWIs. Like I'm old enough.
That's what it was. I'm sorry. I mean, cut you off.
Okay.
The Alcorn game was 58,000.
Okay. Good deal. And so Banner's absolutely correct, where there was a time when we knew, because here's the thing. That was a time when not only were HBCU players going to play pro ball, they were also graduating at a rate higher than black players at PWIs. It is really only recently that African-American athletes at PWIs have graduated at a rate at which they were proud. Right? We all remember when you would see, and again, I didn't watch enough. I'm a outlier here. I don't watch a lot of PWI sports, but I remember my father would complain that he would see a black athlete playing for a white school and the major would be undergraduate studies. And that lets you know that when our athletes would go to their schools, that they were simply using them as slave labor, and very few of them were graduated. And it's only now that their rates, and again, even now, though, look today, we still outclass, Jackson State still outclasses Mississippi State and Ole Miss as far as graduation rate for our athletes.
Facts.
Other than getting the bag, and I'm not going to poo-poo the bag, right? I'm not going to tell somebody not to take the bag. But other than taking the bag, there's actually no real reason to choose a PWI over an HBCU when you understand, and I'll end on this, when you understand 80% of all black judges come from PWIs. Come from HBCUs. 80% of all black judges come from HBCUs. 50% of all black lawyers come from HBCUs. 50% of all black judges come from HBCUs. 20% of all black STEM workers come from HBCUs. And here are the two quotes that I like. Did y'all know, and this is Forbes, I like to tell people this y'all research, this white folks research. Did you know that Forbes said two other things? Number one, a black student who gets an undergraduate degree from an HBCU is twice as likely to get a terminal or graduate degree than a black student who gets an undergraduate degree from a white school. So a black student who gets an undergraduate degree from Jackson State is twice as likely to get a graduate or terminal degree than a black student who gets an undergraduate degree from Ole Miss. But here's the other thing that Forbes said, and I really like this stat. Did you know that HBCUs move their students from the lower economic ranks, lower economic class, to the middle class at a 2-for-1 rate as the PWIs? And watch this. We do it at a 5 times the rate as the Ivy Leagues. So Jackson State, our students who come in, right, from lower economic status, because most of our students are on financial aid of some sort. We move our students from lower economics to middle class at a rate at 5 times greater than the Ivy Leagues. So when you look at all of that statistical data, there's absolutely no reason for you to choose a PWI over an HBCU other than you trying to get the bag, or as Zoe says, black people disparage black things. That's it.
Hey, I have a question for you as far as the airport. So what happened if Mayor Lumumba is not granted another term?
Ooh-wee. Let me put it to you this way, TD. Two of the people that I know are going to run, not all, but two of the people. Well, let me say one of the people. One of the people who's going to run, we already know he's in the pocket of waste management. And that's all I say.
Is that bank?
So if you're saying, okay, I'm dissatisfied, let's say someone says I'm dissatisfied with Mayor Lumumba. So let's say somebody says that. The question is, if you are dissatisfied with Mayor Lumumba, are the options people that you know won't sell out Black Jackson? And so that's the question. That's the question you have to ask yourself. It's like and this may be a bad example. So Ken and TD, y'all correct me, because I'm about to use a football analogy. So y'all correct me, okay? Because I don't, I watch Jackson State. I stopped watching NFL after Steve McNair retired. I don't watch PWI. So y'all correct me.
It's me.
Here is the analogy. I hear a lot of people saying the Cowboys should get rid of Dak, right? Here's my question. For whom?
That's always the question.
You see what I'm saying? So yeah, if you want to get rid of Dak, go ahead, get rid. But the question is there somebody out there? So if you want to get rid of Mayor Lumumba, now I will say this, and I'm gonna go on record in saying this. And again, let's be clear. KC-1400 has never promoted one person over another. Never, no politician comes on here. I'll say this. As it relates to the Jackson City Council, Brian Grizzell is the only person on the Jackson City Council for whom I would cast another vote. He's the only person. Brian Gazelle is the only person now. If people want to come and defend the other people, you should come on and do it. But looking at the garbage contract debacle and looking at all the other things, right now, Brian Gazelle is the only person on the Jackson City Council that I think fully has the interest of the current Jackson citizens and is not in the pocket of some large corporation.
Question by Val B. Says she's not in Jackson. Are the citizens aware of the airport bill and what the mayor is trying to fight?
What's sad is that they should be, but I'm finding that people are, because going back, 5-6 years ago, there was a big thing about it. We talked about it. But what I've learned is, and I'll answer your question this way, Sister Jones. I used to think that the issue was that Black people didn't know. What I'm learning is the issue is not always information, though their information is a problem. The real issue is that we have far too many people who don't do anything because of 3 reasons. They're either scared, lazy, or they work with our oppressors for their own personal interests. Those are the 3 reasons why our community is in the shape that it's in. We have too many, because I'll give you an example, Ken. As a instructor, I testified in the Ayers case. So I testified in federal court in Oxford during the Ayers case. Dr. Ivory Phillips was one of the main people, along with Alvin Chambers. I also have to give a shout out to Derek Johnson, although Derek Johnson was a Tougaloo grad. Derek Johnson was one of the original. Derek Johnson and another Tougaloo grad, Berthun Muhammad. Those 2 were some of the original organizers of that 92 to 94. And so as all of us going into 96, 98, worked in the Ayers case, we were coming home from Oxford one day. And I asked Dr. Phillips, I said, Dr. Phillips, with all of these Black professors and all these Black professionals, why don't we have more Black people active in the Ayers case? And Dr. Phillips looked me right in my face. He said because we have far too many Black professionals that are scared that they're going to lose what little they got if they speak truth to power. And so what I've learned since my work on the Ayers case, or working with and organizing around the Ayers case, is that our biggest problem in our community is not that we don't have Black people that's not knowledgeable. They're just scared. And the thing that gets me is, I want to say this. There's a difference between being fearful and being cowardly.
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all think that when I'm writing about crooked police officers, that I'm not scared when I write about that? Like when I write about, I get pulled over. I get those things. The issue is, it's okay to have fear, but it's not okay to let your fear have you. And we have too many people that the difference between being afraid and being cowardly is that the people who are cowardly let their fear keep them from speaking for Black people. I shut up, TD. Go ahead.
Yeah, the question I have for you on what you just said, I'm not aware of most people don't work for themselves. I put it that way, and they have families to support.
Mm-hmm.
So they stand out on principle, and their principle supersede their job. Now they left without a way to provide for their families, and you're not getting in the back support that you need from standing out anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So why do it?
That's a good question.
That's actually been the most I would say crippling about it, because the reality of the matter is, I think Jay-Z kind of talked about that in an interview one time. People were asking him, I think he was getting some flack from like Black people about, you remember when Rock Nation kind of took over the Super Bowl and went to go, that was around the time everybody was like, we're going to boycott the Super Bowl we're going to boycott the NFL, I think because of Kaepernick or whatever.
Right.
And what is like clockwork, here they go. Or remember when the Papa John's owner said the word, and it was, and who they go get? They went and got Shaq.
Right.
Shaq comes in, and now Shaq is a brand ambassador for Papa John's, right?
Right.
The reality of the matter is what Jay-Z said was TD, you're right. Like why should I stand on principle when the very people that I'm fighting for, they're not even gonna give a damn in about 2 weeks.
Right.
He said that. It was like you'll be mad for a little while, and then why would I miss this opportunity for, like, it goes back to what Brother Seeley said, that third option. It's personal financial gain. And if I can make, and that's the reality of it. Because TD, your point is like, why am I gonna go out? The community not gonna support me. We still got people that I'm not. Because one of the things Banner said in the clip was, we don't want to guilt people into doing what we feel like they should be doing. And TD, you say it all the time. I don't tell people how to spend their money. You just kind of put it out there, and you hope that people will catch on to it. But, bro, we've been dropping game on this channel for forever and a day, bro, on how we can take JSU athletics to the next stratosphere. And unfortunately for our community, we just don't get behind. A lot of us don't really get behind stuff unless it's like, we have a lot that do. And shout out to everyone that has bought into what we're doing and trying to do. But there are a lot that just, it's all crisis management. It's like when the sky's falling, I'll kick in. But if not, like, why should I even care? Because, you know, things continue as they are. So I don't think
and let me answer it this way. And this is C. Lee. It's not Ken and TD, because I'm about to upset a lot of believers. I'm about to upset a lot of believers. So I'm gonna make a statement, and then I'm gonna use some scripture to kind of prove my statement. Here's what I found, TD, in my 54 years and in my study, right? As someone who was raised in a really strictly religious and academically religious household, right? You had to read the text, you had to know the text for yourself. I've realized two things. Most white people practice Christendom rather than Christianity, which means that most white people use Christianity as a cover of their white supremacy, and most black people use Christianity to hide their cowardice. Now, how does that relate to answering your question? You're right that sometimes standing on principle means that I have to make a choice between my livelihood. And my problem is, I can't hear someone say they got faith when you look at a scripture like Matthew 6:25-34, when it talks about, if the birds don't worry about their sustenance, why are you up here worrying about your substance? If you don't have faith to stand out on truth and honesty against your oppressor, how can I believe you have faith? So that's the first piece of scripture. And then the other piece is something I love that the Apostle Paul said. Paul says, I am not obligated to do the evil bidding of a man just because he pays me my salary. I'm going to say that again. Paul said, Paul said, I am not obligated to do the evil bidding of a man because he pays me my salary. Now, of course, the question then becomes, who are we courageous? Those of us who are courageous enough to stand on principle, even when that standing on principle may cause us to lose jobs or to lose status, right? I am not here to tell anybody, TD, that they should risk their job. But what I am going to tell you is, if you're going to say, I'm not going to do what's right because I want to keep my job, then don't tell me you're a follower of Yeshua. You can't do the same. You cannot say, I'm going to do what I know is wrong. I'm going to do what I know is evil, yet I am also a follower of Yeshua. Because you become a hypocrite when you say, I'm going, because I, when I was still in, I was always prone to follow the Yeshua to kick butt in the temple. And I find that most people who claim to be Christians don't follow the Yeshua who kick butt in the temple. Therefore, it's difficult for me to believe them when they silent, simply because they don't have faith that Yeshua will take care of them when they stand up for right. I'm sorry, TD, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I understand the scriptures, but no one's really, and when it was a situation where no one is really oppressed and no one and evil. When you speak on evil, I guess it depends on what angle you're coming with evil. Causing someone to starve or causing harm or causing someone's family to suffer directly, may fits along those categories, but most of those people who are making their earnings are not, I guess, not directly being oppressed or causing evil. At the same time, I would say, even in that, Brother Seeley, those very same people who hyping you up to do those things are going to get up the very next morning and go clock into someone else's job.
And TD, my thing is that, and the question is it about you or is it about them? Right? I'm saying that both of those people are cowards. I'm saying that both. So I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm simply saying that I want to be clear on what I'm saying. I'm saying that everybody has a right to make whatever choice they want to make. I'm just saying that once you make a decision that I'm not going to stand up to something simply because I'm afraid I'm going to lose my job, then I can't respect you as a person who's living in the word. My father said something. My father he was basically the executive director of the Mississippi Democratic Party, right? He rose from being a revolutionary in the streets. There was a day in Mississippi when they arrested so many black people one day in Jackson, in Mississippi, that they ran out of room in the jail. They had to house them at the Coliseum. So my father went from being one of those kind of street soldiers to all the way up. And he said to me, he said, son, never trust somebody that they've gotten their entire check from political work. That is, if you see a politician and that politician has never had his own job, never worked outside of being elected, that's a person that can be bought. And so I say to people who get a job, here's what I used to say to my students at Jackson State TV. I used to say, I'm not teaching you so you can go get a job making $300,000 for a company. And they would look at me like, I said, yeah, that's a failure. There's a mismatch. How is making $300,000 for a company a failure? I said, because if Jackson State is doing its job, when you leave us, you should be able to put up a sign, and a big sign that says, I can do this. And then in little letters, it says, and you're going to pay me this much to do it. If Jackson State and all HBCUs are doing our jobs, we are producing people who, once they graduate, are not slaves to the very same system that perpetuates our second-class citizenship. We are producing people who can go out and make their own substance, therefore they can stand on their own morals and principles, as opposed to limiting their morals and principles, because as we say, you got to go meet that job. I shut up.
Yep.
Come on in this thing, man. I've been waiting on you, brother.
Yeah, what's going on, y'all?
Oh, man.
Hey, man, everything is everything, brother.
Man, look, I'm trying to listen to Brother C. Lee, man. He just driving jam after jam. That's why I'm just in the background, man. Look, I don't want you to shut up, brother. Keep going.
We gonna fight, man. You know we gonna fight.
And I want to say this because this is why we all love TD. Because TD asked a difficult question. Like, it's easy to ask like the softball question, because TD is asking the questions that the people who are really wanting to get involved are thinking about. Because what TD is really asking questions about: lack of organizing, lack of systematic change, right? Lack of a change. What's the thing again? You guys can help me because I'm the heathen on the stream. What was the prayer they would say, that we all are linked together, that one of us can't fall for all of us, right? That's what TD is saying. TD is saying that in our community, we have lost that link in the chain where C. Lee came for. Even if C. Lee weak, because I'm hooked with D85 Tiger Show, because I'm hooked with Ken, because I'm hooked with TD, I can't fall when I'm weak because I'm hooked. And TD is saying that he doesn't see that existing. Where is that chain of togetherness and unity? And we have to talk about it by starting saying, let's identify. And so I'll add this. The next somebody come and ask you for their vote, the next person said, will you vote for me? Ask them a simple question. Whose feet have you washed before getting elected to office. And if that person can't answer you, that person doesn't deserve you. The problem is we are electing too many people to office who never served. So if they never served before they get in office, or let me put it to you this way, and the phrase we all can know. If you give me the milk, why am I about a cow? If I'm getting the milk for free, why am I about a cow?
You know that's the biggest ploy to white supremacy, though. We really get down to it. I know people don't like to hear that word, but the reality of the matter is that's the world we live in. And we live in a system which is it's a capitalistic system. It's really classism now, but people like to elevate classism over racism now. They really try to do that, but what they don't understand is that classism is this big ass machine, this big vehicle, you know, that big expedition we was driving, TD. But racism is the fuel, brother.
There we go. There we go.
That expedition without that gas, without that gas, you got to pull up in the gas station and you got to coop, 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 coop. Let me tell you why. Here's my point in saying that. I work in corporate America. I'm one of one. What tends to happen is this: some of the biggest people you got to fight. This is what's so cool about, and I say cool, but not cool. When you think about white supremacy, if that is the thing that you benefit from, that you advocate for, and the thing that you try to protect, right? You are a proponent of that. You're an advocate for that. It's a very subtle thing, right? What you see happening now is within this system, TD, and Brother Seeley in 85, there are many brothers and sisters that are allowed to participate in capitalism. They are allowed in the room, TD. And those faces that are in the room, I see Boy Bye just keep putting painted faces. I get what they're saying now. What they're saying is that racism changed its color a long time ago.
Yep.
It's the biggest game that's ever been played. And your enemy is no longer somebody that looks like Zach McKenna. I know blue-eyed guy. Your enemy is now somebody that look like you. Yep. Because now the ones that's going to support the system, TD, and this is why it's dangerous to jump out there on a damn island by yourself fighting for the cause when the people that look like you are the ones you're going to have to fight against, because they are the ones that is going to protect by any means necessary. I'm not going to allow you to interfere with my participation in this thing, which is called capitalism, which is this thing, which is I'm a part of this class. I'll take the ugly looks and the undertones and all that good stuff if I can have a good life. And that's the equivalent of what we talk about selling out. And that's why when we start pushing things like group economics, that's why I ain't stupid enough to get out here on my own. I broke this down over the weekend, talking to my big TD is my big brother. I'm Marcus's big brother, right? I know Nook wanted to get on his internet screwed up tonight, but my point is this right here. The reality of the matter is that you go out there on your own, you're liable to get picked off a lot quicker. But you go as a group, you're going to have a hard time trying to get everybody. You get what I'm saying? Because the reality of the matter is, Brother C. Lee, you see how you just said something? You said TD asked the real hard questions, don't he?
Mm-hmm.
That's his place.
That's
He's
it.
Always speak a lot slower. Choose his words carefully. Think his thoughts through. You have to have that perspective. If somebody's just constantly running 100 miles per hour, you're not really, you kind of skirting around the important stuff. So my point is, to your point, I want 85 to get in this thing and get him some of this. My reality of this whole thing is that that's the thing. And that's why when we say we doomed. We doomed. So when we talk about the safe haven of the Black community, here we come. Drum roll, everybody. The historically Black college and university.
Yep.
It is the only space that Black people own. It's a culture that you just can't buy. And if you get it's the one thing that can galvanize a group to unify in a way Outside of that, everybody, we got 400 people in this room, still in this room 2 hours later, because of the JSU part. It ain't because they like Ken so much, and C-Lee is so intelligent, and TD is so methodical, and Golden Fish and 85 never come on the screen and got all the answers. He don't ever say he got all the answers. That's why I want him on there. And we talked about something today we're not gonna touch on, but I just wanted to throw that in there. I'm invoking a little humor, but my point is that's kind of where we at with this. And I go ahead.
I really don't want to ask this question, but
yeah, you do.
I feel like I have to.
Come on.
You just said, the HBCU is the only space that we own. I mean,
I'm talking about culture. Theoretically, not I'm talking about theoretically. When I say it's the one thing that outside of that, TD, what else we got that we can hang our hat on? Tell me what it is.
No. I get it. I get that. When you say that,
I didn't mean it like we own it as if we possess it, like I own my house that I bought. No.
President, what I'm saying, and stuff like that. So
no, I mean the culture itself is something that you can get behind. Now, I will say this: even though we fighting the IHL, we fighting the state that just constantly. Somebody said today when we was talking about, we said I mentioned APR for them Rattlers, just kind of messing with them, right? They come back and say, well, yeah, accreditation matters too. Potable water matters too. Clean dorms matter too. And I'm saying we're accredited. We good in that regard. Water is a Jackson problem, which has actually hadn't been a problem lately. You know what I'm saying? Like we went through a couple of freezes and some storms, and the water system didn't do nothing. So they obviously that's a good thing. Y'all don't want to talk about that. But then the other thing is dorms. Y'all know how many freaking times we tried to build dorms at Jackson State where the damn Senate and the government have shot it down, but then we'll turn around and go and build the same thing. This is all a part of the big plan that we're talking about. This big. You can't sit up there just because you want to troll and talk shit on the internet. That doesn't negate white supremacy. That doesn't gate because that's all a part of that. Mm-hmm. You think holding $250 million away from Alcorn, which is a land grant institution, and giving 97% of the resources to Mississippi State and only giving Alcorn 3%, you think that ain't white supremacy? You think making the PWI supreme and holding the Little Brown School back ain't? We're fighting a battle that's way beyond a Twitter battle. Mm-hmm. So when you start listing off stuff like that, tell me you ran out of bullets and you ain't really got nothing to come back on. So now I'm gonna just tell your mama. You know what I'm saying? That's playing the dozens almost. So I'm gonna shut up for a second. I'm gonna go off screen. I give me some Gatorade, man, real quick, and then 85. Go ahead and jump in this thing, man. Come on now.
All right, man. I appreciate it, man. Hey guys, well look here. I'll say this. And Brother C-Lee, appreciate you for always being an advocate on the ground for us and giving us the historical perspective, which is very important because 92, 94, I was second or third grade. So I was hearing, but wasn't really, in a position to really like digest what happened. But I was around and present when the late Senator Alice Varndo Hardin went to bat for everybody in the state and kind of put everybody on blast to let everybody know that, hey, there's this merger talks coming through, and she kind of went in and, let the choir sing, so to speak. But what we're doing right now, and when I saw, I think Israel had posted, I think he had posted on his timeline or something, but I actually went out and emailed the guy. This Ken.
Let me address that though. Okay. So that's a partially correct statement. He did cut funding to HBCUs, but didn't have anything to do with a post-racial America and all that. What people don't ever tell in that is that he then came back a couple of months later and doubled whatever that funding was. So it was a two-part in that. He did cut funding because he didn't have any connection to HBCUs. He was a person who didn't know. Barack Obama didn't know anything about HBCU. Let's be really clear again, that there are a lot of black people who know absolutely nothing about HBCUs. So he did cut funding to HBCUs. However, the part that never gets told was after meeting with HBCU presidents and HBCU grads, he actually reinstated funding and then doubled that funding that was cut. So that's where advocacy is important. That's where we need to understand. Here's something I always say. And I always get upset. Well, I used to get upset at Roland Martin. And I'm sorry, brother, 85, to cut you off. I always get upset. Roland Martin was bad at this, of telling half the story. Like Roland Martin likes to say,
very bad.
There are 2 million black people at PWIs, only 200,000 at HBCUs. That's true. There are 2 million black students at PWIs, 200,000. So those of us who are in the HBCU space, right, and those of y'all who move outside more than I do, I learned late in life that the vast majority of black folks are either connected to or understand PWIs in a way that they don't. And then what we have to do is say, yeah, so we have to be able to educate those black people, particularly now, because what you now have are more and more black people who are not connected. Like you don't have where you have like the Russell Wilsons whose grandfather is connected to an HBCU. Now you're getting more and more black people who are not connected to an HBCU at all. And so I think that's where here's what I challenge everybody in the chat to do. Learn as much statistical data about your HBCU and HBCUs in general, because love and emotion is not enough, right? If you love something but can't provide empirical data as to why it should exist, then you're not going to be able to have really informed conversations, because what's coming and what continues to come is a discussion around, are HBCUs useful? That's why people, every time you see me, I'm dropping those stats about why HBCUs are useful. And so what I'm challenging everybody in the chat, learn as much statistical data about your HBCU and about HBCUs in general. Therefore, you can have informed conversations, because I've had people, black and white, walk away from me going, oh, I didn't know that information about Jackson State. I didn't know that. Like, people don't know that Jackson State, we disseminate, we give more PhDs to minorities than any other public institution on the planet. Period.
Number one in the whole entire world.
Right. Now, when people talk about, well, that's just black folk, here's the other part that people need to know. Y'all do know that Jackson State white at night, right? Walk around Jackson State after 6 o'clock and see who in those master classes. Walk around Jackson State after 6 o'clock and see who in those specialist classes. Walk around. I always find it crazy and interesting that the local media loves to talk about how dangerous the Jackson State area is, but you got all these white folks in Jackson State after 6 o'clock getting our degrees, especially in education. Those are statistics that you need to know, because what's coming between now and 2028 is the battle to prove that HBCUs are no longer needed, and we need the statistical data to prove that they are needed. I'll shut up.
Go TD. TD, you finna ask a question?
Yeah, no, I'm good. Hey, check that chat, Ken.
And also, since we're here, at the 11 o'clock, Terrence Spears made a good point. I wanted to address his point at the 11:01 p.m. Talking about the FAA.
Before you go into that, the only reason I put my head up there, because I was just like, I don't usually make those types of statements that EA made. I don't make those things inclusive. Like, who is we? That was my only question there. Like, who is we? We didn't say nothing. Like, that don't really apply to everybody, man. So,
right.
You know, but
and so
85 was rolling.
I'm sorry, 85. Yeah, go ahead, 85. I'm sorry.
Oh no, man. Look, man, bro. CD, man. Look.
I don't know you. I ain't gonna let you off the hook that easy, bro. I go ahead, man.
Oh man, look, man. I'm good. I'm good to 9:30 in the morning, man. So we good.
I'll pass it with you. Go ahead.
Yeah, but what I was saying, but yeah, brother C. Lee, you made a great point as far as like the number. Well, I ain't gonna lie, the white at night coming is hilarious, but you know, the earned degrees that Jackson State, where students are earning, those great degrees that they're getting, whether it be PhDs, masters. I mean, Jackson State is, even though we have all kinds of, internal matters here and there, that's still, less than 5% of the it shouldn't overshadow the 95% of the goodness that's coming out of there. You're set up in a situation where if you're a student, and I know I've made this point countless of times, but you can come from Chula, Magnolia, Hattiesburg, Loosedale, Mound Bayou, wherever, and you go into and get into the Jackson State system, do what you need to do what you need to do, connect with who you need to connect with, make those connections, be hungry. You can walk out of there making some serious money, and or pursuing a great what's it called, post-secondary path and or entrepreneurship. So like we're definitely a beacon within our own space. And I think that, and honestly, I think that the powers to be, I don't know if they know this to be so, because they look for examples throughout to say, well, look at all the crime that's in Jackson, and those students can't be doing X, Y, and Z. I mean, man, we got folks interning this summer in Seattle at Amazon. We got folks coming to, going to places like Charlotte and going to Atlanta and going up to New York and DC, and I mean, kids just getting and Sister Shanetta just took a big group of students up to Baltimore for an engineering conference, and those kids are coming back with multiple offers. I mean, internships paying $30-$40 an hour. I mean,
I'll say this right here. We in the part, and in conjunction to that, you and I have been talking about some things going over. I know you over at Johnson C. Smith, and but just know that we are in talks for a partnership with a big company that does do internships with Jackson State students. As of right now, they have 3. I want to say they have about 3 interns. They're looking to get up to 10. So we're actually looking at delving into our hands, and we're talking about paid internships throughout the summer, making $9,000-$10,000 over the summer. You know what I mean? And leaving with a skill. Go ahead.
You can't beat that. Yeah, go ahead,
I
TD.
add something that you said, the 85 show. When you made the statement about crime in Jackson, people look at that. Unfortunately, people watch the news, and that's all the news is going to report. You know what I'm saying? The negative stuff, because that's how they get their ratings for the most part. However, man, you can go to any city that you go to, you're going to have crime. You just got to know what you're involved in and where you are going and what you are doing. There were times, listening to rap music, I was like, man, I don't know about this New Orleans place.
I know, right?
You holler murder capital of the world. I don't know why it's glorified. You know what I'm saying? But but then when you go to those places and you realize, man, this ain't, it just ain't everywhere. It's a life that, where you go, you involve yourself. And I asked someone that when we was in New Orleans, and they said, hey, like they said, just like everyone else said, you can go to a certain place now and cross the wrong person, do the wrong thing, and wear the wrong, it can be the same way. There's crime everywhere. I mean, you just look at the Super Bowl winning team just won a Super Bowl. Got thousands of people outside just celebrate that. And an innocent lady lost her life, and kids and stuff was injured in gunshots. So the world as a whole has a problem when it comes down to violence and crime and stuff like that. So you just can't base that up on. And you know what? People come downtown Jackson every day. You can see the stack of people coming in every day from north and south, entering downtown to work. So what's the whole big problem with that? You know what I'm saying? But to glorify, what goes on in certain areas. So, I mean, if you look at things from that statistic and that's how, well, you're always going to be afraid to live.
And you know what, TD? What you just said is important. A lot of people may not remember this. And I was just amazed at how many people didn't understand. One of the things that really hurt Jackson, and I'm gonna see how many people remember this. This goes back almost 20 years now. One of the things that really hurt Jackson was when they were thinking about implementing a toll. Because if you go to most major cities, there's a toll to come in and out of the city. Why? Because you have people who live outside using the roads. You have people who live outside the city using the services. Mm-hmm. That's what a toll is for. You pay a toll because you have more people using your streets than actually live in your area. You have more people using your services than live in your area. And I was just amazed when they were talking about the toll that so many people were against the toll. And I stand here to say that had Jackson been able to implement that toll, but you know who was against it? It was at the time when Mayor Johnson had first been elected. You had white flight. You had white people pushing the notion because they were leaving the city to live in the suburbs, but they still wanted to work in the city. And they didn't want to pay the toll because they wanted to flee the city. And so you're right. So when you said that, I tell people, I always find it interesting that in the morning and in the evening, the cars that are coming into Jackson and the cars that are leaving Jackson, and nobody wants to pay their fair share for the upkeep of Jackson, but then blame Jackson for not being able to take care of itself. When you are using the resources of Jackson, that's like me coming to your house. I come to your house every day and eat the food out your refrigerator, but I don't put something on it. That is what's happening to the city of Jackson. You ain't gonna be eating Jackson's chicken and ain't putting nothing on it.
and the Tiger Nation, the undefeated, that's exactly the point I was making, man. New Orleans is nice. I mean, that you make that's exactly the point I was making. And just like any other city, man, you go to Detroit or Charlotte, anywhere, it's certain area you want to be careful, because it's going. That's anywhere. Period. So that's that.
Yeah. And so I'll just to kind of circle back to Brother Spears' point. He talked about the FAA has not signed off on the transfer. The airport is fairly funded and the state can't take it over about the FAA approval. That is true. I will first of all say that's true. But the reason the FAA hadn't signed off on it is because the city of Jackson is threatening to sue. Like if they would just pass the bill and the city of Jackson said, well, okay, we cool with losing it, then, but what the FAA understands is that it's just because of the law. So that's number one. Why they have, and also, even if the FAA doesn't sign off on it, what a lot of people don't know is an airport is kind of like a city where you need a charter. And so people don't understand that if a city wants to, if a state wants to, a state can actually close a city. Like a state can take the charter from a city. If people remember, when you had the water issue in Flint, one of the things that the Michigan legislator considered doing was taking Flint's charter. And people say, well, hey, you're gonna punish the people, and that's why they didn't do it. So a lot of people don't understand that Jackson, Clinton, Byram, whatever city in which you live, your city only exists because the state has given a charter for your city. And just like the state gave you that charter, they could do just what they're trying to do to these universities. They could take your city. And so the same with the airport, the state actually gives the charter for the airport. So if nothing else, the state could decide, well, we just gonna dissolve the charter. And this is why all this is important. Because until people need to understand, Afro-Mississippians, Black people all over the state, and Black people all over the country need to understand. Just because you're not the Black person being attacked today doesn't mean you're not the Black person that's going to be attacked tomorrow. And too many times we sit and we watch Black people get attacked and we laugh at them and we make jokes about them, not understanding. And so what I'm going to do is, there's a poem. Now I'm going to do the modified version. I'm not going to do the whole poem, but I want everybody to go find this poem. This poem is by a Jewish poet. It's called First Day Came. The poem is called First Day Came. Now I'm going to do a modified version. I'm not going to do the actual poem. I'm going to do a modified that people do this modified version. But here's just so people can get the point I'm making. T.D. King in 85 First, they came for the people in the maroon house, and I said nothing. Then they came for the people in the green house, and I said nothing. Then they came for the people in the purple house. That must be that Alcorn house. And still, I said nothing. Then they came for the people in that gold house, and I said nothing. Then they came for me, and there was nobody left to say anything.
Whoa.
That's the position that Black people are in. We are watching other Black people be attacked. And we're saying nothing. Because we think as long as we keep our mouth closed and as long as but you need to understand that just like they're attacking Jackson and just like they're about to try to attack Jackson State, Alcorn, and Valley, at some point, because you have to understand that Mississippi is ground zero for the neo-Confederates. They try out legislation in Mississippi first. Oh, and by the way, just like they're getting rid, they got this bill to get rid of 3 universities. Don't forget what they're doing in Florida with the legislation in Florida. Don't forget that the Birmingham mayor has just said, because the state of Alabama is getting ready to dissolve all DEI programs. DEI is diversity, equity, and I always get that inclusive. And what I like what the Black mayor of Birmingham said, he said, if y'all dissolve all DEI programs, I'm going to tell Black parents to send their children to some other school. What's up, Dr. Cavill? Now that's me. Y'all know how I am about Jackson State only, but I have to give props to Dr. Cavill. That's a great intellectual scholarship brother right there. Now y'all know I stay at home and I stay at Jackson State. But if you want some real writing, scholarship, as we say in the hood, intellectualism, that is some intellectualism for you. So I always have to stop and give props to Dr. Cavill. So.
Man, I had a thought. Ooh, you just took my whole everything from me. What was I just thinking? God, keep going. It'll come back.
Yeah. So just we have to
be interrupting folk, man. Because I tell you, man, these thoughts will run away from you like they run out your head.
Yep. Especially the older you get.
Hey, never listen, man. I gotta
write them down, man.
I got a confession, TD. I you know what? You're right. I'm not where I just got back, bro. So I ain't really. I literally started 5 minutes late because I was still trying to set up, and Austin was like, "Hey, man, if your settings are off, just call me and we'll walk through it." And it wound up being okay. But man, they said Dr. Cavill come on the stream. They calling for you, Doc.
Yeah,
no, but man, that was a matter of fact. That's a great poem. I love that, man.
Yeah, so y'all find that poem. Like I said, the poem is actually a little bit more expansive, and that's what I read was you'll hear people reading it the modified way, and the colors actually represent the missions that he actually stated in the poem. Right? I changed them up to make the colors more to the swag. But when you hear people do it, the colors are because he talks about first it came for the Marxists, then it came for the communists, then it came for the labor. Then they came for the Jews. And then eventually he said, but then when they came for me, there was no one left to say anything because there was no one left at all. And so we have to be mindful of that when we're watching other Black people get, and even if it's other Black people that we don't like. Because here's what we have to understand.
See, now that, let me jump in.
Go ahead.
That is exactly when I do defend the right. Now, I get caught up in the bull junk that be out there in them spaces sometimes. And I'll be like, man, you do want to be, but I ain't going to sit here and watch somebody get screwed over, man, and celebrate that because I had a beef.
Right.
Principle for that. You know what I mean? My thing is this right here, 85 and TD. As long as we cool, whatever you and I have ever discussed in confidence, stay that way.
Yep.
You can violate me in a major way. And I'm just going to move on. I'm not going to go and retroactively take something that when we were in a good space, we established, and now I'm going to go spill that to the world because that's my way of getting back. Like, no, I don't rock like that.
Right.
Whatever it is, it just kind of stays in the vault. I don't care if we beefing, bro, and I don't care for you. Like, I'm like that with FAMU because I told me and Zoe were talking about this, and it said FAMU and Jackson State, this little rivalry is starting to brew up into the to the spectrum of a Southern rivalry almost. I don't know if we're there yet, but based off the it's building. But I ain't gonna sit back and applaud some things that could be when FAMU is fighting Florida legislation and they're getting screwed over. I'm not celebrating that.
Right.
Because I already know that same thing that, you know, you point, them three fingers pointing back at you, it's coming back. It's like a boomerang. You throw that out there, and that thing come back and hit you upside the head. And now there's nobody to defend you because you done pissed on folks when they were down. I don't kick people when they down. You know what I mean? I don't. But anyway, keep going. That was my injection.
And for people who wonder, do we have power? Two things. Folks need to understand about what really happened during the Civil Rights Movement. Laws did not change because the majority of white people decided, oh, we've been wrong to black people. That is not why laws change. Laws change when black people divorced ourselves from their money-making machine. The only reason the state of Mississippi changed its Confederate flag, it was a money-making play. And when I said that, and a lot of people got mad at me, and I wrote the article, and I said, the only reason the state has changed that flag is because of money. And you should have seen the emails and people, oh, man, you just always, and here we are now, years later, and the same kind of foolishness we have. Changing that flag did not change their policy. And so I bring that up so that people need to understand. Right now, the number one power we have is our economic force. And here's what people need to know about our economic force.
Let's go.
Black buying power is 1.6 trillion with a T. T as in Tom.
Yes,
T
sir.
as in terrific.
Yes, sir.
Black buying power is 1.6 trillion. If you just look at, and I'm gonna call myself out, because the only place I go, only time I leave my house is go to Walmart. I know that's sad. I don't go nowhere else because Walmart got everything. What I like about Walmart is that you can get your drawers, your tires, and your juice in the same place.
I done elevated, bro. I go to Target, but keep going.
Well, there you go. Well, see, the only reason I don't go to Target is because you can't get everything. That's the only reason I don't go to Target, because you can't get. You can get food, you can get drawers, and you can get auto supplies at Walmart.
No, you can't get no auto supply. Well,
that's what I'm saying.
It's an oil or something.
A little bit. You get a little bit.
So, but we got 1.6 billion. Now, check this out. So we got 1.6 billion. And the other powerful, because when you said HBCU, there's another powerful industry. The other powerful aspect of our culture is this. Do y'all know that black churches collect $14.4 billion every year? Black churches, $14.4 billion every year. The black church is a $1 billion business. So we are we have $1 trillion in spending. And so the question is, what are we asking our black churches to do with that $14.4 billion as part of leveraging, right, our economic stronghold? And again, I'm not sitting here saying anybody should do anything, but I want to be clear. I'm not counting. People should do whatever they want to do with their money. I'm simply saying is, don't act like black people don't have power. Our power has always been the same two things: our intellect, our creativity, and our spending power. And if we are not willing to use our spending power, and this is a little kind of off, but it kind of, well, no, I'll say that. But every time, here's what I do. And I'm asking, every time I spend my money, I ask myself one question. Before I spend my money, I ask myself, is there a black person or a black company that offers this good or service? That's the first question. Now, it may not always be, but I ask myself, is there a black person or a black company that offers this good or service? And I think more of us have to start understanding that we have to think consciously, because the people who are attacking us, that's how they think. The people who are attacking us, they are thinking specifically. And we have to start being more intentional about not only how we spend our money, with whom we spend our money, and how regularly we spend our money, and make sure that we keep tabs on with whom we spend our money. I'll shut up.
I was trying to, for those that might be wondering what I'm doing, I cannot find it. I don't know if it was on IG. I've been looking for this all freaking day, man. And I'll say this, brother Claude Anderson.
Yep.
He I was just listening to an insert, a clip, and I thought I shared it on IG, man. I cannot freaking find it, and it's killing me. I'll find it, and hopefully I'll play it Wednesday if needs be. But he talked about how, you know, the problem with us with spending power, right? He talked about the point he was making was that all the other companies have, all these other races have two incomes. They have black income and their income. We're operating off one, they're operating off two. And he said the thing that threatens them is when we unify. The greatest threat to this system, TD, is unification. That's why group economics is so successful. But let me say this too, and I might get in trouble when I say this, but I don't really give a damn because I'm not saying it with a bad intent. You witnessed this, bro. You saw it with me along how sometimes when we start to pool things and we pool our resources and do things and get effective, the individual givers got threatened.
Wow.
Why is that? Why can't it's powernomics, man? Why can't we do that? But what I'm saying is that, man, it just, well, I can go down a road, man, that'll just probably and maybe one day I will, but as of right now, it's about winning the war and not trying to win little individual battles. And you keep building. And that's why I keep pushing. And that's why I tell everybody, people ask, you know, hey man, why we get out of the initiatives? Why we're not out of initiatives. I just need you to care about an initiative that's way greater than just buying something that we don't have. You know what I mean? And I'd much rather the university be in a space where they pay for what they need and we go do what we need to do in a space that's going to help in the capacity that the university can't. Because the reality of the matter is the students and student athletes are really the resources of the university. Without students, there is no university. You know what I mean? So, but he did touch on that, man. Just group economics is the way. But that goes back to what David Banner was talking about. Because again, he was talking about police reform and how, because you go to Jackson, what's the starting salary for a police officer in Jackson? JPD, 27, 28,000. Something that's going to be dirt cheap. They're going to start on the third shift in the blackest city in America, in the most dangerous areas, and you got to go patrol that. And it's like, man, I'm not. I mean, so you really expecting them to give? I go to Austin, Texas, and a police officer starting in Austin, Texas, you're talking $60,000 a year, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
In Dallas, it's 75.
So you in Dallas, Texas. No state tax, by the way, just so y'all know that.
Tax. Yeah.
You make $75K, you can make a good living. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm just telling you. So we're talking about a livable wage. Now, what he's saying is when you talk about that, you have the issues that you have. But when you're talking about pooling your resources together and using, now that was a radical thought. I'm not trying to touch that thought. I just wanted to take the substance of what he was saying because that's how we've attacked everything. And somebody got $20 over here, but imagine if we get that many people to give 20 at the same time. We just took care of something that fast, and we've seen it, we've demonstrated, and we've shown it to be that way. So, but on a grand scale, Brother C. Lee just hit a nail on the head with churches. Churches have the most buying power and the churches, I know they like to use the nonprofit status, but they're businesses, man. You know what I'm saying? And they bring in a lot of money. You know, imagine if we could unify. Imagine if all the pastors of all these churches came together and decided that they were going to do this, this, and this. It's a lot that can be done from a unified standpoint. But in our community, we don't love doing things that we don't benefit from.
Yeah.
We don't invest time, energy, and money into things we don't benefit from. When I say something about NIL, your ass don't get nothing in return for NIL. The athlete do. Your return is our athletes are good, and we're getting some dope, we're getting some big time talent, and we're keeping them. That is the payoff, and you have to be okay with this concept of somebody else benefiting from your contribution.
Yep.
And then you get into this meism. It's all about me, myself, and I. It's just me, myself, and I. And y'all don't realize that the music, TD, we talked about this, bro, about the music. TD was joking with me, but we were listening to some slow jams, and we going through the traffic, and you said, bro, I'm actually surprised, dog. I said, is my driving, do I drive that fast or whatever? I try not to be driving too fast, but he was like, man, he said, man, I think if you were listening to some rap music, man, you probably would have got a little aggressive, like, because when you listen to stuff, it can lead to you being aggressive on the road. You listen to calming music, somebody's cut you off, you probably like, all right, bro, go ahead, man, you got it. You listen to shoot 'em, kill, mother, like, hey, you know what I'm saying? So my point, that y'all get my point. Go ahead, TD, jump in there.
No. What you're saying is exactly right. We was rolling down our with the interstate, getting ready to go to the game, and we listened to some mellow, smooth music, and Ken just is calm. Normally he get out the way, riding somebody's tail, turn on the stick, about to bump they right tail because he going left. I mean, he'll be, hey, how Ken is on the shoulders. Just imagine him in the car traffic jam. But being the music was calm, Brother C. Lee. In the situation, they won't let him in. They won't let him out.
I don't have road rage like he insinuated. Yeah. It might have happened one.
He's kind of like, you just could have let me in. But anyway, go ahead. I'm saying, like, hey, it's the music, man. So, you got to be careful what you put into your spirit.
Yep. But to that point, though, my point is when you inundate your culture in the generations that's now adults, man, independence, IENDP, you know what I mean? It's just me, myself, and I. I'm not saying that those songs are single-handedly did it. I'm just saying when you do that, you are what you eat. And if you conserve me, my, you just do you. I'm gonna do me. Stealth piece. So it's all about myself. So the concept of community, unity, somebody else is just not in the it's just not in the diet of Black folks as a mass, as a whole.
So let me do this. And I think I've done it before. And I promise this is not a trick question. So I'm gonna ask a question. I want all three of y'all, Ken, TD, 85. I want y'all to answer. And I promise it's not a trick question. If you take a tube of toothpaste, just a regular tube of toothpaste, and you cut that tube of toothpaste at the top, what are you gonna find?
Toothpaste.
You take that tube of toothpaste, same tube of toothpaste, and cut it in the middle, what are you gonna find? Toothpaste. You take that same tube of toothpaste, cut it at the bottom, what are you gonna find?
Toothpaste.
You know why?
Because
all they put in that tube was what?
Toothpaste.
So watch this. If you put foolishness in your mind for breakfast, and foolishness in your mind for lunch, and foolishness in your mind for dinner, when you open your mouth, what's coming out?
Foolishness.
So that's the point that Ken is making, is that when we're talking about the art that we consume and the entertainment that we consume and the people that we consume, you have to be careful what you consume, whether it's music or literature or movies. I want to be clear. I'm not saying that you have to consume all consciousness. I'm saying that you have to ask yourself, whatever I'm consuming, does it make me destructive or constructive? And am I consuming more destructive things, or am I consuming more constructive things? And most people, they actually don't govern what they put in their mind, what they put in their body. And I'm very clear. I don't think that dysfunctionality or being dysfunctional is entertaining. So because I don't think that being dysfunctional is entertaining, I don't want to step on any toes. I did this one comment this was years ago, and everybody on the list here got mad because it was called "Are You Stupid?" And I listed all the things, right, that would make you stupid. And at number one, I was like, I don't watch reality TV because the vast majority of reality TV is about promoting dysfunctionality.
That is a fact. I hate
so
it.
I'm not saying. Yeah, so I'm not saying that you should or shouldn't. I'm saying that why would I don't understand being entertained by dysfunctionality. And so what I ask people is, all of us got music that we listen to, some questionable, some good. The problem is all the music you listen to dysfunctional? Is all the television you watch dysfunctional? Are all the movies you see dysfunctional? And so when you can look at something and you can't tell me any song or any show or anything that you watch that's not dysfunctional, then you just like that tube of toothpaste. That the only thing that can come out of you is dysfunctionality. The only thing that can come out of you is negativity, because the only thing you're putting in yourself. And I think that we have to do a better job as parents. I'm glad that I had parents and aunts and uncles who not only exposed me to different types of art, they also questioned. My father, to the time I was 16 or 17, anytime I would ask my father for something, he would ask me this one question. He would say, how is it going to improve your life? I remember the first time he asked me that, I asked him for something. He said, how is it going to improve your life? I said, I don't know, man, I'm 6. I have no idea. But I was 6 years old. But by him asking me that, even now, 85, Ken, TD, even now, I'm a grown man. And even if it's something that I just want, that I know ain't going to improve I had that thing in the back of my head that I know I don't really need this. Because my parents planted that seed. I tell people, look.
I had the seed planted too.
It wasn't that I wasn't. Look, I did a lot of crazy other stuff that other high school folks did. But I knew what the line was because I had that seed planted. I said, I'm going to do this. And I end on this. Years later, my stepdaughter told me this years later. She was grown. She told me, she said, I used to always trip about y'all curfew, you and my mama curfew, because I had an early curfew. She has to always trip on it. She said, but I'm going to be honest with you. I used to use that curfew because I had a couple of friends that was crazy. So when they were getting ready to go out, she was like, girl, y'all know I'm down, but the old man at the house be tripping, so I'm going to get on in, so I don't want to hear that. Then when they would drive off, she would go, woo, them heifers going to jail. I'm going home. And so she used that curfew, like she acted all tough. And then sure enough, she'd get up, she'd get the phone, like, Say and them went to jail. She's like, yep, that's what happened. And so, but she didn't tell me that till years later, that the curfew. And so that's what we're saying here is that we need to go back. We need to stop being critical of parents who have the kind of rules in their household that don't let their children be exposed to any and everything. I'll shut up.
I agree with that. To your point, I had a dad that was an old country dude, man. He still living in that same old house out there in the backwoods of Madison before that Madison became what it is. And Brother C. Lee, I called my dad, man, and I wanted to get something from him. He always had money, but he's old country, hardworking dude. He said, man, how much you need, son? I said, well, Dad, man, I'm trying to get these shoes, man. They're $100, man. I'm all nervous, because he said, well, I tell you what. He'd always break the total down by the amount of hours that he would work. He said, well, I tell you what, man, I got some bookkeeping you can come and do. So people don't know. I took accounting. When I first went to Jack State, my major was accounting. And I was supposed to take over, Clark and Associates. My dad, 30-year CPA, worked out of the house. I never seen my dad work for anybody ever in my life. During tax season, he grind January through April, pretty much May. And then he kind of coast the rest of the year, do a lot of community work, clean off some yards for some old folks, in the community and paint houses and do all that type of stuff. Man, he always had work for me, bro. I don't care if it was TD. We had camp land up there on the other side of Canton. We go all the way up to the other side of Canton. We had this big old farmland, camp land. He'd be like, I tell you what. And that's how I used to get in shape. I had a goddamn push lawnmower. And a big land, I push lawnmower. Talking about just push it, it's gonna make your legs strong. And true enough, man, I was solid, But what he'd do was he'd say, I tell you what, man, you come work for 8 hours. And he knew I wasn't gonna finish it. If I finished it, cool. I go get this big old yellow manila folder, man, and get all the receipts. And that's how I knew that churches and all these other places are businesses because, man, my dad had a lot of churches as their clients and he did their taxes. So I'm putting all their receipts, literally a big ass manila envelope full of receipts. I'm putting them in date order by month. and I'm using ledger paper, bro. This ain't no computers, dog. I'm 13, 14 years old. He's like, you know how to line it up, you know how to count. So I got the January here all the way to December, and he lay it out for me, and I'm just bookkeeping. But my point was, if I fell short, he'd give me the $100. I knew that if I had to sacrifice my Saturday though.
Right.
So I pull up on Monday with them new shoes, TD. I got them shoes, dog, but you don't know. I just went to work Saturday, man, all day.
I love it.
But you know what else they did, Ken? You know what else they did? That made you take care of them shoes. That also made you take care of them shoes.
Facts.
They put that work ethic in me. You know?
Right. Once you pay for them shoes, once you work for them shoes, you were less likely to let them shoes tear up.
So it was never a thing where it was like, you know, I'm gonna just give you what you asked for, you know. It was more of, and then he always say the same thing, you know, there's only one way to do it right. That's all I always say, you know. Son, you get ready. That's why I got married so young. He planted seed, the man, since I was 9 years old. The man was saying, son, when you get ready to start laying with a woman, you need to find you a wife. I was in the house with a Baptist preacher, man. I heard that since I was knee high to a grasshopper. That's why I'm a senior, you know, doing all kind of ungodly things with, you know. I was a jock. And then I had a heap of coals on top of my neck, man. So I'm 19 years old, man, in the junior college trying to win a state championship, and got married like a mug, man, my sophomore year. So I'm just saying, trust me, the seeds work. But to your point, though, when you sow bad seeds into your kids and you don't really instill the right things in them, you know what I'm saying? You can't get out of the cup what you put into it. Exactly. What's in the cup gonna come out. That's all it is to it. So I just think overall, collectively as a community, we have been conditioned to not give a damn about each other no more. Yep. I'm sitting here watching on Hulu, I think it's the Malcolm X Martin show. Yeah. And you talk about unifying. You talk about valuing our stuff. We usually talk about it, but the question is our solutions. Like, how are we going to get in the game and really try to actively do those things? And I look back at our childhood where we had mentorship was strong, you know. You had things in the city that was there, but when you look at a lot of the crime-filled areas, it's resource strapped. You can't take everything out of the community, fill it up with bad food. So TD, the food is bad in the community that in these high crime areas. Yep. You can't find a good healthy meal to save your life, but you can find all these fast food restaurants. You can find that one grocery store that it ain't. Everything is left, you know, like secondhand stuff for the most part. And then two, there is nothing in the community that's available for them to do, because all the youth sports have now become a racket. Speaking of, hell, you got the 707 tournament and you got grown men out there fighting Cam Newton, which I did want to kind of touch on that a little bit, you know, which is disappointing. And before you,
Ken, I wanted to get back to the Cam Newton point, but I want to say something real quick on what you said.
You got
it. You were speaking on David Banner earlier.
Yep.
And it made me think when you just said the spiel that you made me think about a spiel that he have on his album called The God Box.
Yep.
Yeah, he had a man come on and he say, it's funny how quick you say how you'll murk your brother, but when it come down to another race or person, you have nothing to say. But when it come down to your brother, you quick to tell him how quick what you'll do to him.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So it's you know. So that's all I wanted to say on that, man. You know,
to that point, he said in there that most black people want to be white. They just won't say it. That what he did. That was the part he put in. He did put that in there.
Well, I've seen that on the album. Yeah.
Another way you can say that is I hate what I look like. Self-hatred. You see that. It's just kind of what it is. You know. Where do we go, TD? And I'm gonna say this, and I don't care if I get in trouble for this. I said I was gonna say something about this. When we left the practice and we went to Mondays, remember in New Orleans?
Mm-hmm.
Very disappointing, man. You look around, and I think I counted. I did this, and maybe there was just something that was just bothering me because I am a girl dad. I have all daughters, right? And I'm big on our daughters loving their own stuff. it's very I don't know who told our beautiful daughters that, you know, wearing other folks' hair and color, it was so many different colors. It looked like a Skittles bag, man. And none, just different color wigs and weaves and you got, and I'm not knocking weave, man. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking wigs and all that. But I was just looking around and Brother C. Lee, out of about 17 young ladies, probably from workers all the way to the people that was attending, you might have saw 16 out of the 17 that were all just looking like, it's like costume attire. Not attire, but just like, it just was. And what that told me was, this is way deeper than just, I don't want to deal with the maintenance of Black hair.
Right.
Because I've never heard a Mercedes-Benz owner or a Lexus owner or you don't buy those vehicles and then cry about the maintenance. You go into those purchases knowing that I just bought an Audi. This is a German vehicle that runs, you know what I'm saying, that has an extremely hot motor. Do you know about this? That damn Audi burns oil like gas, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because it's built that way. It ain't even a leak.
Yeah,
but you can burn through some oil because the way it is. My point is, this is all a part of that too. This is all a part of that self-hatred thing.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I understand getting braids to take a break from your hair and all that good stuff, but it's just like, sometimes, you know, it's okay to wear your own stuff and love that about you. We're in the BBL era. Nothing's real, everything's fake. You know, nobody like what they look like. And whatever, you know, I'm not tearing them down. I'm just talking about, it's indicative of the times. It's all centered around self-hatred. And nobody likes what they look like.
Right. And
you got women that will not let you see them if they have to wear their natural face.
That's and I would say that's
they won't show their natural face.
That's the point. That's the point where we've been trained to hate ourselves and we perpetuate that hatred, and we don't even know we're perpetuating. I'll give you 2 or 3 examples. When I was teaching, I would teach world literature, and I would get into the Africa section of the world literature. And like things that we say that we don't even know, we're perpetuating our own self-hatred. For instance, whenever I hear somebody say, that's a pretty little Black girl, what you're really saying is that you didn't expect that Black girl to be pretty. Or what you're saying is you didn't expect her to be pretty, because if she was just pretty, you would just say, that's a pretty little girl. But instead of saying, that's a pretty little girl, you said, that's a pretty little Black girl, as if I'm surprised there's somebody that's Black or dark that's pretty. That's how we are in our own mindset, perpetuating it.
Or he's so well-spoken.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
What?
Right. And so the way I tell people, I say, look, you talking about somebody who's I've had every chemical treatment in the world. And what I tell people is this: chemical treating your hair, wearing wigs, wearing weaves, those in and of themselves are not signs of self-hatred.
They're not.
The sign of self-hatred is if you cannot fathom, I want to be clear, you cannot fathom going in public in your natural state.
Yep.
If you will say, I can't go in public without chemical treating my hair, I can't go in public without certain amounts of makeup, you might have a self-hatred problem. Again, because we all gonna change and do this, we're gonna cut our beard a certain way, we're gonna do these things. But if in your mind, you can't go in public and present to the world, this is me, this is who I am, then you might have a problem with self-hatred. And what I'll say to everybody in the chat who may be offended, who may be kind of, understand that self-hatred is an issue with which all African people struggle from being smothered in whiteness. And we need to understand, there he is, and I said about this, we need to understand.
Got that natural hair like Bill.
There we go. That consciousness, I want everybody to know this. Consciousness is a journey, not a destination. Because as the Apostle Paul said, as we are striving for perfection, yet though we may fall, we continue to strive. As we are striving for consciousness, yet though we may fall, we are continuing to strive. So every day, Black people, African people have to fight against hating ourselves, because every day we are smothered in whiteness that teaches us to hate ourselves. I'll shut up.
That's a great point. Dr. Kabir, welcome, man.
Welcome.
Good evening, Doc.
Hey,
Good job.
I won't hold y'all long. You know, it's far past my bed hour. I see y'all getting in, and I appreciate it. I just wanted to come on and really say I commend the work that you're doing with the 1400 Club. Multifaceted, multi-dimensions, not just sports. It's about the power of HBCU, specifically focused on Jackson State University. Well deserved. But the momentum that you're bringing forward is a way that others can find a way to frame it. So it's important. But you're also talking about the intellectual capacity of what we can bring beyond this point. And it's refreshing to hear that at a time. Obviously, it's always a place to have fun. It's always a time to make sure that we celebrate. You know, we enjoy it. We deserve to be able to laugh and have fun, eat, just like anybody else.
Right.
But there's also time that we need to go to work, time that we need to be serious. And the fact that I can join on this and kind of sit down and put a book down and get a chance to look and hear folks talk about what they want to achieve is important to me. And I appreciate that, because it's an example for others, for myself, to be frank with you, in terms of how I can continue to push forward. So one of the things you were talking about that W.E. Du Bois talked about a long time ago, that people have to consider, oftentimes the further we got away from the lash, the more challenging it becomes for us to understand the collective empowerment and what that really means. This country is built on individualism. So you're fighting against that. You're fighting against the natural norms of what people hear and are told every day from a commercial media, framing of this country, which some people will frame as the beginning of this enterprise. With that being said, is that we have to understand of how do we continue to tell people the importance of the collective, us, and more importantly, the institution. I really appreciated you all talking about the power of historically Black colleges. While there are Black institutions out there, and not to say that HBCUs are the only way, but they're one of the longest historical standing institutions to create a collective based on a thinking process. Now, there are some concerns oftentimes with the institution that we may be modeling, white institutions oftentimes too much, which really concerns me personally, particularly when we get in this comparative nature. Now, to compare, to find out what framing you are and how you can get better, that's one thing. But to compare in a disposition to think that you're always less than or what you don't have is dangerous.
That's correct.
We have no desire to copy what other folks have done that have endangered us from the beginning. At least personally, I don't. So that's one thing. You see the point that I work from, why I celebrate others that are doing the work, pushing forward, because that's all I'm about. It's not about me. It's about the collective of we, and more importantly, our institutions, because institutions by the nature are where we get to. And individuals do not beat individuals or beat systems. Institutions beat systems. So all the things that you all have to do with Jackson are models for what we have to do in smaller collectives around this country. And we have to exchange that intellectual capital to understand how to beat back the walls that continually try to put us in a position of negative framings of where we need to go. So I'll leave it there and kind of park the plane. But more than anything, I wanted to celebrate y'all. I appreciate those folks that asked and acknowledged me. But at this point, it's about the work you're doing. And I just wanted to make sure I acknowledge the fact that y'all are doing outstanding works to find a way to push us forward. So I thank you. I salute y'all for that. Continue to educate, continue to push forward, and most importantly, continue to build on the historical legacy of Jackson State University and HBCUs in general. We need it more than ever.
Ken, before Dr. Cavill gets off, I got to say this since he's on here. If you want to know what makes his program great, it's the same thing that makes a teacher great. Great teachers are great because they enter the classroom with great expectations for their students. Dr. Cavill's HBCU Sports Lab is great because he approaches it with an understanding of the greatness of the institutions that he's covering. And because of that, because of the love and the understanding of his greatness, he presents HBCU sports and culture in a way that you just don't get at many other places, particularly if you're looking for intellectual stimulation. I always say that there are certain people that I may listen to them just for the topic, but then there are other people that they are so well-rounded and so intellectual that I'll listen to them talk about shooting marbles. And so Dr. Cavill is one of those people that if the SWAC had a marble competition, I would show up. You know, and again, y'all know I've gone back to my cave and I stay just on this platform, but I'm not telling you what I heard. I used to be a regular watcher. And I can tell you that if the SWAC had a marbles team, you would get the greatest coverage, not because of just his love for marbles, but because of his love for the beauty and power of Black people. And I just want to say that and just say that because your show, for me, remains the vanguard in sports and culture because we leave there with an understanding of our multi-discipline or multi-dimensional greatness. I'll shut up.
Let me say that real quick.
Thank you.
Here you go, TD. I just want to thank you, Doc. You know, it means a lot to be. You know, I got nothing but respect for you and the work you've done, and sometimes it you know, when you get compliments from some, it's just like, man, I appreciate it. You know, it's good looking out. You know, yeah. But then sometimes you may get a compliment from someone, and you know, it means it's a different because it's like, okay, if you can pick the attention and interest of what we're doing, you know, it's great because I'm all about simplicity, you know what I mean? And simple means one. I really try to have a single solitary mindset in how I can take the love that I have for Jackson State and I could use it as fuel to just create a system that I see happening. Because they got some things that they're putting in place to pass us up and like try to annihilate us as institutions with systems and all the stuff we got going on. So we start within the front porch of institutions is athletics. We know that. So how do we get in the game athletically? And how do we take this concept of this new thing that, you know, our white counterparts and PWIs have taken the bull by the horns because they have a 400-year head start economically. They got all these resources and they're not dealing with the problem. And if you've never dated like interracially, or really have like friends that really can't grasp the idea, it's real interesting to talk to someone who doesn't have any frame of reference of anything that you're talking about in relation to oppression, in relation to somebody will tell you, well, just don't think about it. And it's like, I really wish I could just not think about the fact that on site, you don't know what it's like. I automatically look unapproachable. I have to govern my face because sometimes I have to catch myself and make myself smile because I'm like, do I look mean? Do I look whatever? Because I'm a 6'3", 200 and, you know, some 90 some pound Black dude with a mean disposition, and you already kind of at a disadvantage if you say the wrong thing. I shared the story about the plane incident with the lady. She was aggressive to me and wanted to call the police and use her white card against me because I guess I didn't adhere to her, whatever. But my point is, when you try to introduce a concept to our people in the midst of individualism, as you stated, it's like, how do we talk about unity? So what I tried to do is I tried to ride the back of the momentum of our previous coach and ride the emotions to say, okay, we earned the right to be pissed off, but what are we going to do with these emotions when we're no longer mad? And it's obvious, it's clearly like the momentum has died down because the excitement of the anger and the fuel that we were using to make us say, well, we're going to prove him wrong. All right, that's good for a year. Well, what about really building a system? And now what we've slowly done is we've slowly gravitated back towards comparing. Now it's about me against this person. And let me tell you what I mean when I say that. I don't mean somebody comparing themselves to Ken. You got people that'll say, well, hell, I work hard. Why do I need to pay this player to go to the school that I went to for free? And I love it. And it's like, because I can't get outside of the concept of me thinking that the world revolves around me and my world is how the world looks to everybody, people ain't trying to hear that. I'm not saying everybody is, but there's a lot of people that does not grasp that concept. So we keep pushing it. And so you take this single solitary idea and this concept and you just try to master that. So we do what we can do. But this is what I do know, Doc, and I say this and TD can jump in. I know for a fact that we're not strong in the area that we're pushing through. You know, we're building, but we're not very strong. Jackson State could be a juggernaut, man. And our biggest adversary at 1400 J.R. Lynch is division. We haven't mastered unification yet. We haven't unified. We still separated in a lot of capacities. So what happened is that when you challenge status quo, you tend to run into some adversity. There are some institutions out here that have systems in place, HBCUs, I mean, that can take what we're doing, grab the bull by the horns, and kick our behinds at doing what we're doing. If they ever get the momentum and the courage to just say, you know what, let's go do it, I sincerely and truly believe that they can run. Now, Jackson State, if we ever decide that, you know what, let's get serious about this thing and let's make all the players that understand the game and the direction in which we're trying to go, let's sit down at the table and formulate a plan. You do this because you do that great, or you do that because you do that great, and let's grow together. Man, we could be a juggernaut. But right now, we're not where we need to be. But it's just we're in the infant stage of this, and I trust that the work is the work, and we're going to continue to do it. It's a vision of mine. I believe in it, so I'm doing the work, you know, along with my counterparts that have bought into the vision and taking this ride with me, you know. So I said all that to say this. I appreciate you for acknowledging it and seeing it and, you know, and speaking highly of it. So it means the world to me, and I know it means the world to all those that have supported this platform. TD, you got it, brother.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna keep it simple. Dr. Kabir, first of all, thank you for joining the panel tonight. You know, it's a pleasure having you. When you make the statement, the farther we get from Lash, I'm not. Do you mind elaborate on that a little more? Are you on the physical side of it? I mean, what do you mean? Can you would you mind
the Lash?
Yeah, that's a fair question. I'm glad you asked it. You know, while I oftentimes really don't want to speak of us from talking about enslavement, because our history is much richer than it and goes back for those that wish to understand and acknowledge the past. You know, often we understand that we come from the continent that was coined as Africa. And we look at many of the dynasties there, and we understand, even from a sporting context, that you can trace sports from that period down back to the continent. But in this particular dialogue. I'm talking about the extraction of people from Africa. Many of us prefer to use the term Black or African Americans or Black Americans. You know, I could care less which term you use if we're talking about from a collective perspective. So I usually frame it that way. But obviously, when we were enslaved as Africans brought to America, you know, there was chattel slavery. And in that case, oftentimes you heard about the whip. So when I refer to the lash, I'm talking about the lash. It was much more easier for us to understand when we were fighting this oppression, when we were in a place where we had less choice. It was easier for us to think of a collective mindset.
Yes.
You know, a cultural relevance in terms of how we move forward in this criminal enterprise, as many people will refer to it as, of how important each of us were to one another. And as we move away from that, and many of us, you know, as things in a lot of ways have certainly gotten better, you know, that's inarguable in many ways. But there are some frameworks where we can see that we have not, if we take the time to look at it. And as we move that disposition and move further away from that time, oftentimes it becomes more challenging for us to understand what it means to work with one another for the benefit of each of us. So that's what I mean when I say the further we get up from that lash, the more that we tend to see a lot of us acting individually and acting from a position of power as if we know more than others versus sharing content in such a way that we uplift all of us in a way that continues to move us together in terms of our institutions, as our neighborhoods, our communities, our cities, if you would, you know, to some degree, our states, depending on how you want to look at the collective power, whether it's from a voting perspective or not, just the number of us. We tend to isolate and try to figure out how do I make it work for myself versus how do we continue to build for each other. So that's the challenge, frankly, for us that we meet, whether it's talking about the individual space of our communities, our cities, our states, as I'll continue to say it, or our institutions, Jackson State University. It's easy for, if you're not careful, when you talk about the legal framework that they're talking about closing down 3 HBCUs. And while it is a defensive mechanism oftentimes to say, well, you know, it won't happen to us. And that's because generally most of us are not saying that personally.
Right.
It's because we come from a position that we think we have to fend off somebody else that's attacking us. But the challenge is for us to understand that whether we in the state of Mississippi or outside of the state of Mississippi, the collective resonance of all of us standing up and saying, no, you're not going to do that. And we're going to find a way for you not to do that. And if we're going to find a way to penalize you for even trying to do it, for speaking it, it's going to be a problem. So we must see the value of the SWAC, the MEAC, CIAA, SIEC, even our institutions that are independent, that we may have concerns of why they chose that path, but still it is the collective that allows us to have the strength to continue to move forward in such a way that we will win. And when I say we will win, I'm talking about moving forward of changing the total framework of this space that we tend to be in at this moment.
Amen.
What's going on, brother Trent? Trent jumped in this thing in the last hour. What's happening?
There go my classmate.
Hold on. You on mute. Let me unmute you, bro. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thank you, Dr. Cavill.
Yeah, okay. I think it was me.
Anytime.
Okay. Look, couple of things. First of all, Dr. Cavill.
Yes.
It's an honor to be on on speaking at the same time that you're speaking. C. Lee.
Yes, sir.
You know the respect I have for you.
That's my classmate, y'all. We was at DIL together.
English majors.
That's right, English majors.
Wow.
So clearly, you all have seen me several times, and you've seen C. Lee. You know who the smart one is, and it's not me.
Ken, let me tell you though, Trent was the first somebody ever saw do this. We had to read a novel. And, you know, I was reading it incrementally alone. Trent had the whole novel. So I said, Trent, what you gonna do, man? What you gonna do about the novel you're doing? 300-page novel. Trent like, I'm gonna knock this out later on tonight. I walked away, 300 pages. He gonna go on, knock this out later on tonight. Now, I knew I was a reader. Showed up, Ken, when we got to class for the presentation, Trent knew that book forwards and backwards. Now, I don't know if he was pulling my leg or if he actually knocked it out. But I said, I ain't never knocking out 300 pages in a night. Hey. So that's my Trent Walker, why he's able to do the things for us. Because he's knocking out 300 pages in a night.
All I got to say is, look behind me.
Yeah, man.
So reading is what I do. I don't like to read on any app. I would prefer a book where I can actually turn the paper pages. But having said that, you know, Dr. Cavill, you know, I promise, you know, a lot of ground has been covered this evening. Yeah. And I really was just like, can I add anything to this conversation? But a couple of points that I want to make. Okay. Number one, we're talking about infrastructure in particular at Jackson State. Some of you may recall when the W.E.B. Du Bois Honors Dormitory was constructed.
Yep.
All right. And those of you who've been anywhere near Jackson State over the last however many years know that dormitory, which was constructed in the early 90s, is a parking lot.
Yep.
And has been so for at least about the last 10, 15 years.
Yep.
It's a parking lot. So you built a dormitory from scratch and tore it down and left that and made it a parking lot. It was fully constructed, and this was not a black construction company that constructed the W.E.B. Du Bois Honors Dormitory. This was a company that was approved by the state of Mississippi, and the product that they built was of such poor quality that it could not last a generation.
Yep.
All right. So when we start talking about, you know, what the needs are of the university, and we're talking about we need dormitories and so forth, even when we get dormitories constructed, then you have these majority corporations that will come in and do such poor quality work. And then you don't have recourse because they got paid, and I guarantee you they did not give the money back.
Right.
So, you know, that would be point one. Point two, and we've talked about tolls and we've talked about, you know, who's for the city of Jackson and who's not. It has been my observation, and the rest of you can agree or you can disagree. It don't make me no difference. If you believe in something and you have money, you put your money behind that thing that you believe in. Okay? So if you don't put your money behind that thing that you believe in, then you didn't believe in that thing. And so what we have is the state of Mississippi, whether it be the airport, whether it be whatever it is that they're trying to take over with the water system, you can say we don't believe in that thing, but what we know for a fact, they don't want to fix things.
Nope.
They want talking points.
Right.
Nope.
Okay.
Right.
If you believed that you were going to, if you believed in the citizens of Jackson, I'm not talking about the leadership. We'll get to that in a second. If you believed in the citizens of Jackson, then you would, as a state, do what you need to do to fix the water. Okay? I'm not going to talk about the garbage because that's totally a City of Jackson issue.
Yep.
But as it regards the water, the state of Mississippi can talk about whatever they want to with regard to the city.
Mm-hmm.
If you believe that you are the servant of all the citizens, then you would have done what was necessary to try to fix the water. You did nothing. But as soon as the federal government stepped in and said, hey, we got $600 million right now, and by the way, you can look for that same commitment in the next couple of years to total somewhere in the neighborhood of $1.8 to $2 billion. All of a sudden, now you want a committee to take over the water system. You don't give a damn about the citizens, and you don't give a damn about the water system. You want to control that $1.8 billion, and you want to be able to parse that money out to your friends.
Yep.
So
Mississippi do, man.
That's what we do. So, you know, when I see the governor send out a tweet saying congratulations to the Sonic Boom, okay, thank you, we appreciate that. But what we could really use is you throwing your political weight behind things that actually matter to the university, and not just some congratulatory tweets. When you were running for governor, you wouldn't even come here and campaign. You didn't even try to get our votes. And I hate that his opponent lost, because whatever else you want to say about him, at least he showed up.
Right.
So that's number two. You know, the other thing along those same lines, what people will forget, y'all remember probably about 5 or 6 years ago, Jackson installed cameras at red lights so that they could catch people who were running red lights.
Right.
And they were issuing tickets. Now, to be honest, I have some constitutional problems with a red light camera system. But when the state of Mississippi turned around and outlawed that red light camera system and made Jackson have to take down their cameras and make it so that they could no longer issue those tickets, they didn't do it on any constitutional grounds.
Right.
They just said, we don't want Jackson making that money.
Yep.
And so you had some, because you go to New Orleans and run a red light and watch what happens to you.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, that same system is still in place in major cities around the country. But when Jackson put that system in place, regardless of the constitutional issues that I have with it, the first thing the legislature, I don't even think it was up a good year. And the first legislative session after Jackson started doing that, the legislature came in and outlawed it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a simple thing, given that Jackson is the blackest city in America. A lot of people don't know that. So when you look at a lot of the things that they hold back from Jackson, it doesn't make any difference what they do on the east side. You got Eastover, it's a very small pocket. I mean, but you're talking 80+% African American city. I mean, they're not going to do much in that city that's going to, you know, try to benefit. They'll do what they can in that area, because what you do know is even when it came to the water crisis, that little small pocket wasn't affected. You know, you can see in the city of Jackson right now, you go up Northside Drive, man, right there on the I-55. You go left, you go by a school that just finished shut down, Chastain, my middle school. You know, the apartment complexes look the same. The furniture stores vacated, but you turn right, man, it looked like it's posh city, man. It's a damn boutique. You got a Whole Foods. I'm blown away. I got a Whole Foods in my hometown, and it's so secluded, man. It's so you know what we do? We go into all the nice restaurants over there. We come in the shop too. We doing all that good stuff, but at the same, they're going to slow. It's not closed now, but they're going to close down. They're looking to close down Chastain. But this is what I do want to ask. I ain't mean to steal your thunder, Trent. EA put up a good question. Finally, EA got some question that's worth actually considering. And he said, how do you battle financial metrics by the state but stay true to the missions of HBCUs? This issue is at hand in limiting attendance growth at most HBCUs. That's actually a really good question. Anybody want to jump on that? We got a little bit of time left. We got about 8 minutes left.
Well, I think that's a good one to close on, because in the bill 2726, it actually lists. So that's why I want everybody to go read the bill. Like I said, it's only 6-7 pages. It lists. It gives 4 of the metrics that they're going to use to determine which schools to close. One is economic impact. One is the number of degrees offered. The other is enrollment, and a 4th is graduation rate. And then it said they're also going to consider some others. And so the issue for HBCUs has never been the necessarily academic metrics. The issue for us has been meeting the same academic metrics with less money, and then being told. So staying true to your mission of an HBCU, the issue has never been what we do academically. The issue has always been, even going back to the Ayers case, even when we meet the benchmarks, even when you love to talk about, and see, that's the white supremacist buzzword. We want to do it based on merit. We want to do it based on merit. As if HBCUs and black people have never met the merit. No, we've always met the merit. It's just that we've never gotten the same pay. So I would say that it's not really and here's something else that people don't know. Did y'all know that it was the HBCUs that created the bridge programs in Mississippi? The bridge programs are the programs where it was HBCUs that actually started the programs that you had a high school student that may not have had what they needed to take freshman classes. Jack State, Alcorn, and Valley had those bridge programs first. They were working so well, IHL came back and said, because what we were doing with the bridge programs, since they were school specific, you would come to the school, you would complete what they called that first year, and then if you completed everything, you could then enroll as a student at Jackson State, Alcorn, and Valley. The programs were working so well. And then, this is where the slickness of white supremacy and evil. What they did was, they didn't fund it. They didn't help us. They just added one little thing to change it. And they said, okay, if you successfully complete these programs, you can then go to school anyway. So we're not going to fund programs to help you bridge the gap between your high school and college. But if you can do that at Jackson State or Alcorn or Mississippi Valley, we will then admit you to any of the other schools. And so what you now have as formalized bridge program, all of those. So I'm using that example to say that meeting young people where they are and then pulling their academic potential from them, that's the HBCU mission. And we've never been in jeopardy of staying true to that mission. The problem is getting the money to do what other people get money to do stuff they ain't never done. HBCUs do things and they still won't give us the money to do it at a higher rate, even when we proven 10, 20 years ago that we can do it. That's it. I'll say that.
Yeah, I think that is one of the most significant questions that our institutions must find a way to answer. And I will say this not only in regards to our historically black colleges, but also our historically black high schools, K-12 institutions. One of the things that I've always tried to get administrators to consider, and it's probably one of the biggest challenges that I've had in my academic career, is obviously in a public situation, where to some degree, you have to find a way to meet these metrics and you have to align them. I've always told them that we need to create our own metrics as well, in addition to. So you do what you need to do in terms of reporting whatever, but I also think we need to have small group think tanks that talk about understanding how to make measures. The quickest one I'll talk about is usually you put out there that people are most familiar with is your 4 and 6 year graduation rates.
Right.
Obviously, we have to report those states. Some of them are federal in terms of the nature. But I also think we should be looking at 5-year graduation rates, 7-year graduation rates. Have those so when we enter into the dialogue, not only do we give our 4 and 6, but we also have the information for 5 to 7. And then be able to talk about, as you alluded to, the financial situation that creates a different framework. So you don't get caught up in saying that you didn't meet the metrics, and maybe you didn't, but that's all you have. You also have additional information to say, well, this is what we did with this information, with these metrics based on this set of data. And you also talk about what you did in terms of the funding that you received. And so I think part of our need is not to get so caught up in only answering to those metrics in being defensive. Some way and facet, when we talk about it from a sporting context, we have to be more offensive in terms of how we speak to our ways and needs. Not to say that they're actually going to listen, but the fact that we're putting it out there in such a way that those that do care understand what is going on. And so that's one very simplistic way to look at it. I think if we had more time, we could take a deeper dive. But I will say on the onset that it's certainly one of the most important issues that we need to get in front of and continue to understand how we move forward.
Yeah, we can. This is an expansive kind of a conversation.
Yeah.
It's not a one-nighter thing. I know we'll be back on Wednesday. We will delve back into the meat and potatoes. We invite everyone to come up, man. Make sure you read the bill. We'll definitely go more in depth, and feel free, Doc, to come back up, man. We can pick this conversation up Wednesday. I know we got you guys on here, but we will have Dr. Roderick Little on Wednesday, Director of Bands, Assistant Professor of Music at Jackson.
Shake your pom-pom. Shake your pom-pom.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about the Road to the Roses, man, the big fundraiser, and of course the Sonic Boom. I mean the Sonic Boom performing at the Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure everybody's heard all the different stories, but just kind of want to go into just who Dr. Roderick Little is and just the outstanding work he's doing as a director of bands at JSU, man. He followed up a legendary Dow Taylor and is doing just a knockdown job, man. So everybody tune in then. Man, I appreciate all of you guys for coming up tonight, man. D85, you ain't off the hook, bro. I know you still got a lot of meat on the bone. Come on back up and we'll attack it accordingly, man. CD, you got anything before we get out?
No, I enjoyed the conversation. I enjoyed you guys tonight. Let's continue to move forward and support each other. Thank you. Have a good night.
All right. Man. Appreciate everybody, man. We're gonna go ahead and close this one out. We'll see y'all on Wednesday. Same time.
Ken.
Go ahead, brother.
Take care.
Can I have 1 minute as we close?
Go ahead. I'll let you close us out.
All right. 2 things. Number 1,
all right.
With regard to the Goon Squad, there will be 2 federal sentencings. There will be March 12, 13, and 14. There will be sentencings of 3 of the people who have pled guilty, and then there will be an additional 3 March 19, 20, and 21. So those who are able, please do come to the United States Federal Courthouse in Jackson so that you can make your voice heard on those 2 days. So that would be the first thing. The second thing is, and Ken, I sent you a little information on this a little bit earlier. Upsilon Epsilon chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated will be having our 75th anniversary. And we are doing a celebration, and the high point of that will be a gala. I believe it's on March 23rd, that Saturday of that weekend. And if for those of you who do not know, Dr. John A. Peoples himself was founder and charter member of the Upsilon Epsilon chapters, been active at Jackson State for 75 years. We are celebrating our 75th. And those who wish to attend or purchase tickets, please feel free to contact me. Just hit me up on Facebook, hit me up on Twitter, and I'll make sure that you have that. But 75 years is a long time. And Dr. Peoples is still living.
You got to be a Q dog to come, don't you?
No, you do not. Ken, matter of fact, Ken, if you say you coming, I'll make sure I got your ticket myself.
Hey, listen, man. I got a lot of dogs, man, that I'm tight with, man. You know, I've been rocking with the alphas a lot lately. Shout out to my brother KT Dub and all of our partners, man. But
hey,
my brother
me and KT Dub go back about 30-something years.
Hey, my question is, I got the most important question about that, Trent.
What's that?
Are y'all gonna play?
Play what?
Play the anniversary version remix of George Clinton's Atomic Dog that he made just for y'all anniversary. Y'all gonna have that?
Hey, there you go, right there, man. I Trent, as you were talking, I got it up for you. March the 23rd, man, 7:11 p.m. Diamond Anniversary Gala, the Upsilon chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Charted on the campus of Jackson State University, March 25th, 1949. Tickets, $75 VIP table, 8 for $750. You can go to Zeffy.com. I mean, so what we'll do is you can drop the link in the comment section or the chat. And if those that do want to go, I mean, they definitely will. Hey, man. Hey, listen, I just may come, man. You know, it's always intimidating when you come to some of these fraternity parties. I ain't Greek, man, so you know, I ain't trying to be in there getting.
Hey, you may not be Greek, but you can Clark.
Hey, but you know what though? Shout out to Philip Causey. That's my brother. So in the celebration bowl, the last one, me and Philip, I sat in the corner with all the bros, man, and just we were sipping a little. What that we were drinking? What's the little cognac? Well, no, it was tequila in the little glass. Not the glass. It's like it was a weird looking container. It was pink. But it was good stuff, man. He was like, man, come have a seat, man. Talk to me, you know. And Karamu, my brother, DJ Unpredictable, cute dog. So I got a couple of bros that's partners, man. So
hey, look, all of us who are up here, and I know that our brother just got off, but look, if y'all say y'all coming, I will buy y'all's ticket.
You know what, Trent? Since you put it that way, I'm gonna show up for you, bro. I gotta make sure. Hold on, let me see. That's an interesting date. So I gotta look at some stuff. I'm waiting on that spring football schedule, so I'll be coordinate because I know we do kickoff camp this Saturday. I'll be at the first practice. Also, I didn't say this, but we will be sponsoring. We will be one of the sponsors for the Visit Jackson is having a. Man, where is this thing? I just had it up. So this weekend is going to be it's the Jackson Food and Wine Festival. It's going to be at the Mississippi Museum of Art from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. It's going to be featuring over 20 local and regional chefs and live music, man. So one thing I do love about Visit Jackson is Visit Jackson got all the information, man. So if all the restaurants you don't know nothing about. It's kind of strange, Dr. Kavita, to be from a city and you don't even know what's in it, you know what I mean? So, and it's so much that's going on, so many dope restaurants. But to go to this food and wine festival, I am a wine connoisseur, especially being out here in the great state of Cali. You know what I'm saying? I got my little wine room down there, but I'll just say that for another day. But I also love food. So the I don't know how they're going to push it out, but you will see the KC-1400 logo on there. But we will be in some shape, form, or fashion a sponsor. We're working out some stuff for that, and then may even be at the event this weekend. So we'll be at I'll catch the practice. I'll get by this event, and then I'll get on back home. So anybody got anything else?
I'm good.
That's it. But hey, so TD, I know TD just got off, but
Yeah.
tell him he's included in that offer.
We coming. KC Dub with Alpha, man. He can come too.
Yeah. Look, like I said, me and KT Dub go back 30 plus years.
You see what Dr. Cavell over there coming up. You see what Dr. Cavell is over there letting you know, Trent.
I like Trent.
I know Zoe got off there.
I like that. Trent all right with me.
Dr. Cavell, show me again. Do it one more time. Hey, Dr. Cavell, you want to come? Sir. I got you.
I appreciate it. That's why I say you
let me know.
I'm in there, man.
75 is a lot of years of history, so I appreciate that. I don't care what you're talking about. So much respect.
Let me say this to you though, Trent. This is monumental. This is funny, but the monumental aspect of what you got going on with that case, man, it's huge.
Yeah.
So man, I'll definitely pull up, man. Celebrate you, bro. You're doing great work. You and the team that went out to do what they do, did what they had to do to, bring justice to the, to the state, man, and to that city, for the goons, the thugs that y'all putting behind bars. And we'll see how that go, man. I'll follow that, and then you come back up and let us know how the first 3 went, and come back up and let us know how the second 3.
Be happy to do it.
Yep, keep us informed.
But yeah, man, I'm gonna pull up, man. I need to. Hey, brother C. Lee. They got
trying to find a reason to get to Jackson. Last time I went down there, man, y'all took care of it.
I might have to give me a purple suit, man. I ain't no bro, but I pull up with a purple suit, baby.
I tell you what, Ken, if you can head up who's coming offline and let me know,
no, I got it.
I'll take care of it from there.
I'll get with the crew, man. Honestly, I'll get with the whole crew and just see. I'll get with Marcus, TD, and obviously, we move as a group. So if we can, we'll see who all can, and then we'll be there, man, for real.
All right, Dr. Cavell.
Yes, sir.
I would love to see you in the building.
I see the date. I'm gonna look at the calendar and see what I can figure out.
March 23rd, man.
C. Lee.
Yes, sir.
Look, I love you and I love Monica.
There you go. So all I gotta look at the calendar. I gotta look at the calendar because March and April is National Poetry Month. So I'm always busy. I'm usually busier in April, National Poetry Month, than I am for Black History Month. And then March, I have a lot of readings, but I think that I may be free the 25th. So as long as I check, if I'm free, I'm there. You know that.
Look, looking forward to it, and we will make it happen.
So it looked like spring break. Yeah, that'll be the week. Yeah, I'll be in town for sure because spring break is the 11th through the 15th. And then school will resume on the 18th. So yeah, I won't be in town that week, obviously, but the following week, and then the last. I should be able to make it. I'll keep you posted.
Well, I know Zoe and the ATL or what have you. Tell Zoe and Rochelle to go for them too.
Sure thing, brother.
Right. Just let me know so that I can make sure that we make the proper arrangements. Dr. Cavill. Brother, do you say Cavill or Cavill?
We say Cavill, but we have family says Cavill, so I've heard both terms. It's a funny joke.
I'm gonna say it the way you say it. I'm gonna say it the way you say it. You say Cavill, I say Cavill.
I appreciate it.
But at a bottom line, again, it has been my honor to be on screen the same time you on screen.
And Ken, I know we're leaving, but I got Nichelle Hiflin put in a comment. Yes, that poem I read. Yes, Nichelle, it is about Hitler rounding up people during the war, but more specifically, the poem was written by a Jewish man who was saying how he felt guilty for not saying anything. So that's what the poet is saying is that because he was a German and he watched other people get rounded up, he watched other people get mistreated, that when it came to him being mistreated, there was no one left to say anything about him. So yes, you're right that it's the focus is about Hitler rounding up people during the war, but specifically it's about evil can only survive if good people say nothing. And that is the message of that poem. That if we all say nothing, if I see something bad happening to Trent or Dr. Cavill or Ken, and I don't say anything, that is the only way that evil can survive. And I'll end on that and shut up and let us get out of here.
No, we've talked about that before. I wasn't aware of that poem, but I've said that. It's like you watching me get my ass kicked, man. And I look up and I see you and I'm like, damn, bro, I'm down here, bro. You can't stop these jokers from kicking me in my stomach. Now, when I heal up, you can't come and be like, hey, bro, you know, how you doing? It's like
I saw you watching me get my ass kicked.
Right. But it's also like he who is okay with my oppression is also my oppressor. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, you appreciate your allies, man. There are some real allies in this race war. You know, not everyone that looks different than us is pro that, but white supremacy you can benefit from all of that and still not. That's why I tell, you know, most if I'm having a conversation about this, I think we just ask. I call it using your face. You know, in your face you got two ears and one mouth. So I actually listen as much as you talk, you know, twice as much as you talk.
Ken, along those lines, I want to say one thing, and then I'm gonna get out of here because I know we are trying to get off.
Last comment. Go ahead.
Okay, and it is this. You know, this weekend I actually went and bought an AR, and there was a reason I did that.
Nice.
And I believe that there are way too many guns, and that the guns that we have are too powerful. I strongly believe that. But I went and bought an AR, and the reason I did it was this. When the revolution comes, or if the revolution comes, however you want to look at it, when you shoot at me, I'm going to be shooting back at you with the same firepower you shooting at me. Now, you might think I'm crazy, and maybe I am. However, crazy got to be president in 2016.
Hey, you know what though, man? No, it ain't so much, because I was sitting there thinking, man, you fighting, you know, in the position that you're in the role that you're taking in the state, in the city that you're fighting in and taking it in, it's not uncommon, bro. So, you know, I'm actually glad to hear that. I ain't gonna get into all the artillery, you know what I'm saying? Because I tell everybody, man, I come in peace. But that don't mean I ain't coming with a piece. What you want to do with it?
Here. Post it. Hey, you know what they say, this is a pinned comment, a pinned tweet or whatever.
Yeah.
I come in peace. That don't mean I'm not coming with a piece.
Man, I'm gonna try everything I can to avoid all confrontation.
I highly agree.
Yeah, man. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all, man. We'll be back Wednesday. I see everybody, man. As always, I love, man. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.